Pre-owned 4x4 from Downtown Ford. Our lot on Howe Avenue is loaded with super clean pre-owned trucks and SUVs ready for the snow. F-150s, Rangers, Explorers, and the super hot Ford Maverick. And if there's a particular type of vehicle you've dreamed of owning someday, Downtown Ford probably has a used version of that same vehicle for a substantially lower price. Downtown Ford backs our pre-owned vehicles with an available 10-year, 100,000-mile extended service contract. We're the oldest Ford dealership in California, and we're super proud of our heritage of providing great American Ford cars and trucks to the people of Sacramento for more than a century. Visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems. And now that the calendar has hit October, you're probably not rushing to grab your sweaters and jackets just yet. But before long, it will get chilly. Will your heater work to your satisfaction? Well, right now at DAS Mechanical, they have a $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup. So take advantage of this early by going to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org. Whether it's for your home or business, with amazing financing options available, including 0% interest for 18 months, this family-owned and operated business since 2018 will take care of your heating and air needs. Take advantage of this $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup now. Go online, dasmechanical.org. You can schedule online, look at their 5-star reviews. That's dasmechanical.org.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. The holidays may feel far away, but the best dates are filling fast. At Bennett's, we make every celebration effortless. Host your holiday parties in our elegant private dining rooms, or let us bring the chef-crafted catering right into your home or office. From family dinners to company parties, our team delivers the flavors, service, and holiday magic your guests will remember. Secure your holiday celebration today with Bennett's at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Fox Sports Sacramento is proud to support Runnin' for Rhett's annual Farm to Fort fundraiser at Sutter Sport. This event benefits Runnin' for Rhett's youth fitness program. 100% of the proceeds raised help thousands of children each year get the opportunity to participate in living healthier lives through better fitness and nutrition. 2025's Farm to Fort is sold out, but you can still help support Rhett's dream to inspire, uplift, and encourage all to take the first step and move into life. Please visit runninforrhett.org and learn more. That's runninforrhett.org.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Grant's back, and here to win. It's the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Now, Grant Napear.
Good afternoon, everybody. Opening night for the Sacramento Kings. They are in Phoenix, game 1 of 82, and we've got a lot to talk about on the show today. Hope you are doing well. We are going to give you our forecast for the Sacramento Kings as they get ready to throw the ball up here in a couple of hours. Can't wait to talk about it. Make sure you join Ryan and yours truly right after the game over on our YouTube channel. We'll have the post-game show for you. Jerry Reynolds will join us. We're looking forward to that. And right now we're looking forward to what you are expecting from the Kings this year. I'm going to throw out that number. You can get on deck now at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Two games last night, and of course the first one was a dandy in double overtime. OKC edging Houston, and then the Warriors go into LA and take care of the Lakers. So the NBA season began last night. Many of the other teams will play tonight, and we'll break it all down for you. And of course, it is the Kings and the Suns. Also, in hour number one today, NFL Talk, one of the top reporters in the National Football League, Steve Weiss from the NFL Network. He will be joining us here in hour number one. And the latest story coming out of New York is how Justin Fields handled the absurd comments yesterday from Jets owner Woody Johnson. And I got to credit Fields here. You know, he said, I don't think me talking to him is going to do anything. It's not going to make me play better. It's not going to give me more confidence on the field. So I don't think there's necessarily a point in talking about that, and I doubt he'll come to talk to me. I mean, pretty impressive. Said everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's just what it is, but you just have a choice or not whether those opinions affect you or not. I really like the way Fields handled that today in the New York media. Now, you can't really defend his play on the field. He has not been very good. We get that. He has not been good. The Jets have not been good. They have had some games that they've been in position to win, and they've not been able to do it. But they're 0-7, and their first-year head coach, Aaron Glenn, is under a lot of pressure from the New York fans and the New York media. Things are not going good. But I love the way Justin Fields handled that. So I'll talk with Steve Weiss about that, about the 49ers, and how he thinks their injuries, particularly on defense, will affect them. And with the trade deadline coming up here at the beginning of November, will that factor into what the Niners may or may not do? That is quite a race in the NFC West with three teams at 5-2. So again, that's coming up here in about 15 minutes. I'll talk with Steve Weiss from the NFL Network. Busy night in the association with many of the teams playing. Of course, you've got Cleveland and New York starting right now with Brooklyn at Charlotte, Miami at Orlando. I shouldn't say right now, in an hour. Miami at Orlando, Toronto at Atlanta, Boston hosts Philly, Detroit is at Chicago. The Pelicans are at Memphis. You have the Bucks and the Wizards from Milwaukee. The Jazz, who the Kings will play on Friday, are home against the Clippers. Spurs and Mavs from Dallas, and Minnesota is at Portland. So the question is, who will Doug Christie start tonight with the absence of Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, and, of course, now Isaac Jones is sick and unfortunately cannot play. And I think he would have probably started or at least been the first big off the bench. And in my opinion, the only way the Kings are going to win tonight is by putting your 5 to 6 best offensive players on the floor and just flat out make Phoenix defend you and just outscore them. Have a high-scoring game, go back and forth. You're not stopping Phoenix. They have too many offensive players that you are not going to match up with. You are taking on a team that doesn't have a lot of size down low. I don't think you could start the same lineup Friday as you do tonight, just based on who plays at the power forward and center position for Phoenix. So I think that Doug might have two different starting lineups here without Sabonis. And again, Sabonis has only been ruled out for tonight and Friday. We don't know yet about the game Sunday against the Lakers. So you have a couple of options here. You could start Saric. That doesn't really do anything for me. And the reason for that is I already know what you have in him. All right. I think that Eubanks will start at the center position. I don't think you need size in this game at the power forward position. I think you need crafty ball movement. I think you need offense. And I think you need to put the onus on having Phoenix defend you. And whereas Saric can score and is experienced, I just, it doesn't add up to me. So we'll see. But Schroeder and Levine, Schroeder's not on the injury report, by the way. All right. He's not on the injury report. So he will start along with Levine. And then you have DeRozan and Eubanks. So could you just go small? Could you just go small and put a Nick Clifford out on the floor? You could do that. Could you go with a little bit more size? Well, you do have an option with doing that, but then who comes off the bench, as your first big if you start Saric? I mean, then what do you do? Let's say that he or Eubanks gets into foul trouble. Then what do you do? I mean, this is a lineup against Phoenix where you can really go small and you can just put, your unconventional lineup out on the floor. So we'll see. We'll know here in about 3 hours when the starting lineups are introduced. So give me your thoughts at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. What about the expectations for this year? I would love to know what you think. Give me the total number of wins that you think the Kings will have. It has not been a good training camp. It's not a good training camp when you lose your best defensive player on a team that's not that good defensively. It's just not. And then when you lose, arguably your best all-around player, and personally, I don't think it's arguable. He is their best player. So you lose your best player for the first couple of games. You lose your best defensive player. You also lose a player that can stretch the floor, who can put the ball in from downtown or below the basket. It doesn't help your rebounding. Obviously, you're going to have a rebounding disadvantage. So it's not an ideal way to start the season when you look at the schedule after these first 3 games. Most of us thought that at the very worst, all right, at the least, you had to go 2-1 in these first 3 games. This was before we even knew about the injuries. Because when you look at that upcoming road trip, it looks very, very difficult. So I still think you need to go 2-1 here. I think you can go 2-1, but you're going to have to just flat out outscore the other team. And I know Doug's personality. I know what he wants. But sometimes you don't get what you want, okay? Sometimes you just don't get what you want. And you're not a defensive team. You're not going to become a defensive team, at least not until Keegan Murray comes back. You're not going to be able to stop other teams. Doesn't mean you don't try. It doesn't mean you just play civ defense, your matador defense, but you have to deal with reality. And the reality is the Kings' identity is offense. You have DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine on the floor. Your identity is offense, okay? You have Dennis Schroeder, who is a veteran point guard that should be able to run this team differently and better than we've seen in recent memory. I think Keon Clark has to play a lot of minutes tonight because I think he gives you what you do need defensively, and you have to hope that he has one of the games where he is clicking offensively, because if that happens, then the Kings will win this game. I think the wild card in all of this tonight is Malik Monk. Monk did not have a good preseason. And I think Doug will go to him early, but I don't think he'll stay with him early if his game is not on, because Doug knows what the upcoming schedule is too. And Doug's not stupid. All right. Doug understands the importance of these first 2 games against teams that most observers in the NBA, most members of the media, most of the fans in the NBA feel are not as good as Sacramento. And that's the Suns tonight and the Jazz coming up on Friday. So you need to figure out a way to win these games because, I don't like the matchup against the Lakers if Sabonis is not on the floor. I think that's a real problem. And here's the other problem is the Lakers play Minnesota before they come in to take on the Kings. And I could definitely see the Lakers coming into Sacramento at 0-2, and there's going to be a lot of onus on that game for the Lakers to not go 0-3. That is for darn sure. So, what do you think? Who's going to start tonight for the Kings? And is that really even important? We've heard from Doug about, what's important is who's on the floor at the end of the games. And my question is, if this game is close, can you have Nick Clifford on the floor at the end of the game? And based on what I've seen so far in training camp, I would lean more towards yes than no. But you also have to understand he didn't play well in the semifinals or the finals of Summer League. Now, that doesn't mean he's not going to play well tonight if the game is close in the fourth quarter. But I think what would factor into that is how has he played up to that point, and then who will be on the floor with him. Would you then have Schroeder on the floor? Does he come off the floor? These are all things, because I think this game is going to be close. I think this game is going to be close. 916 chiming in says, not worried about Monk. He will be ready to go, in my opinion. I'm less worried about vets because I already know what they can do and what they have done. Like, I'm not really worried about Dennis Schroeder. I've seen him play too much. I mean, it's not like he just forgot how to play. And he did have a good game in the last tune-up against the Lakers, but I'm not really worried about him. Like, I don't think Schroeder's going to be the topic of our post-game show tonight of how terrible he was. Like, I don't think that's going to be the narrative at the end of the game. All right? So, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Somebody said, Nate, you always said starting is overrated. I didn't say it's overrated. I said that it's not that important compared to who's on the floor at the end of the game. What I said is it's not, I didn't say it's overrated. I don't know if I used that word, overrated. I just said that we get caught up into it as media members and as fans a little too much. I mean, you have to start 5 players. And most teams, okay, most good teams will have the same starting lineup, barring injury, for a good portion of the year. So if you take a look at all of the good teams in the NBA, right, then tell me, when you look at the good teams in the NBA, what do they all do? Barring injuries, they pretty much have the same lineup, correct? They don't change a lot. So I don't think Sacramento's in that category right now. And I'm okay with not being in that category because, you know what? It is what it is. You know, you have now a couple of injuries that are a real problem for the Kings. And the Keegan Murray situation is not good. I don't care who you are. I don't care, how you want to analyze the Kings, how many wins you think they're going to have. The bottom line here is that is a big loss for Sacramento. Plain and simple. It is a big loss for Sacramento. You do not lose your best defensive player, a guy that can guard multiple positions, a player that can neutralize on many nights the other team's best offensive player. You don't take that individual out of this Sacramento Kings lineup and think that that is not a good. You can't say it any other than that is a real problem for Doug Christie. I guess that's the way I want to say it. That's a real problem for Doug. It just is. On a team that's not very good defensively already, and you lose your best defensive player for the foreseeable future, that is a real problem to start the season. May not be a problem tonight against the Suns. I said may. May not be a problem against the team Friday that most expect to be at the bottom of the standings in the West. But after that, it is going to be a problem. Hey, with the NBA season tipping off, so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. DraftKings Pick 6 is the easiest way to play for big wins, with every possession giving you a shot at real money. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more stats and unlock the upside every game brings. Pick 6 is available in Texas, California, Missouri, and more. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use code KSAC. That's code KSAC Play just $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. When we come back, Steve Weiss from the NFL Network. That's right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Downtown Ford of Sacramento is celebrating the fall by getting you equipped for a winter road trip. And if you're headed up 50 or 80 into those gorgeous Sierras, get there safely in a new or certified pre-owned 4x4 from Downtown Ford. Our lot on Howe Avenue is loaded with super clean pre-owned trucks and SUVs ready for the snow. F-150s, Rangers, Explorers, and the super hot Ford Maverick. And if there's a particular type of vehicle you've dreamed of owning someday, Downtown Ford probably has a used version of that same vehicle for a substantially lower price. Downtown Ford backs our pre-owned vehicles with an available 10-year, 100,000-mile extended service contract. We're the oldest Ford dealership in California, and we're super proud of our heritage of providing great American Ford cars and trucks to the people of Sacramento for more than a century. Visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
We have a busy show. Opening night for a lot of the NBA teams. And the NFL week begins tomorrow with the Vikings and the Chargers. And welcome to the show. I think this is one of the very, very best NFL reporters in the business. Steve Weiss is NFL Network senior national reporter, and you can see Steve on NFL Game Day kickoff. That's Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific on NFL Network, leading up to the Vikings-Chargers on Thursday Night Football. Steve, it is so great to welcome you to the show. It's been a minute. How are you, buddy?
Grant, it has been a minute. Great hearing your voice again, and thanks for having me on, man. I know you're fired up with the NBA season to kick off.
Yeah, I am. This is my favorite time of the year. How many years for you now at NFL Network?
I am in my 17th season, if you can believe that.
That is
Time flies.
unbelievable. Yeah, it sure does. What a mess with the Jets, huh? I still cannot get over the comments that Woody Johnson made. And I thought Justin Fields handled it beautifully today when he met with the New York media about it. But I mean, I just can't believe Woody Johnson's comments yesterday.
It's just really, I'm very stunned, because the owner is the one who gives the GM approval to sign guys, and he gave the GM approval to sign Justin Fields to a $30 million deal. But owners don't want to be perceived as meddling, even if they are, and this is meddling, right? To come out and speak in an open forum and kill your quarterback, talking about, well, if you had a quarterback who could complete a pass, maybe things would be better. Even if you feel that way, even if the other 52 players on the team feel that way, that's stuff that's kept behind closed doors. And so to publicly go out there and do that to a player who's a high character guy, that's just real tough, real tough for an owner to do.
And it can't be the easiest situation for Aaron Glenn, who's under a lot of fire, off to an 0-7 start. We know how the New York media is. We know how the fans have been booing this team off the field. I mean, if you're a first-year head coach and you've been so good as a defensive coordinator and you come in, talk about it from his perspective, Steve.
Well, first off, now he feels like his hand's probably forced, right? Because this is the guy who owned the team when he played there, owned the team, guy who hired him, and now he's saying that the quarterback he even started can't play. So, again, it kind of forces his hand unless Ty Taylor, the backup, is injured, and I think he was limited in practice. But it's also kind of a shot at the general manager. Like, you signed this guy when we could have gone out and got some other guys. So it's just really, again, though, for Aaron Glenn, first-time head coach, getting his job. This is a quarterback that you coached against when you were with the Lions and Fields was with the Bears. You thought you could do something with him. You hired an offensive coordinator who you thought could do something with him. And he's struggling right now. The whole team is struggling. The organization is struggling. So, again, this just puts everybody in a really, really uncomfortable spot because he is the guy who signs the checks.
Steve Weiss from the NFL Network talking about what is going on in the NFL. The 49ers and their coaching is amazing to me. And what Kyle Shanahan does year in, year out, and obviously with Robert Saleh with the defense, this team finds a way to win 5-2. But at some point, I mean, these injuries, you lose Bosa, you lose Warner, now Huff is out. We've got the trade deadline coming up at the beginning of November, but I know injuries are all over the league, Steve, but these are some of the very, very best players at their respective position. When you have your crystal ball out and you look into the future, doesn't this have to impact this team at some point during this season?
You would think so, but sometimes, we've seen even with the Niners, like their player development, guys step up and play, right? I mean, guys show up. And so you would think at some point the drop off because of the talent of not having a Bosa, a guy who can win one-on-one, pressuring the quarterback. And they don't have that guy right now, right? So you would think maybe they try to make a move for Trey Hendrickson, but maybe not. I mean, the salary might not be something they could afford under the cap. So you may have to work with what you have. And you never know. Like you said, they coach guys up, they develop guys, and you may have to compensate. I mean, look at last week against the Falcons. I'm blanking on the middle linebacker name who stepped in there. But he was fantastic. He had 10, 11 tackles, completely shut down the middle of the field against Atlanta. So, again, I call the 49ers the no excuses franchise, and they're showing that right now.
The Raiders against the Chiefs, that was such an embarrassment. You've covered, as you said, the NFL, just at the NFL Network for, almost 2 full decades, and you've been following football longer than that. Do you ever recall the team only having 3 first downs? I mean, that was pathetic on Sunday.
No. I mean, I've seen some very just awful defensive plays, but that was brutal. I mean, just in every way, offense, defense, just absolutely brutal. Be it coaching, be it personnel. That is just an overall malfunction of a performance. And if they follow that up with another stinker this week, then it's time to really, I mean, they're not a good football team, but if they follow that with a real stinker this week, then you have to say to yourself, okay, what really is going on? Because that's more than just coaching, right? Then for those guys to go out and perform like that, if you have pride as a football player and only get 3 first downs, that is shameful.
Steve, at the beginning of the year, when the Micah Parsons story was evolving. Take me back to that. And as we look at the impact that he's having on that Green Bay defense and how well he played on Sunday, we're not surprised. But when you look at the totality of this trade and what it means for the NFC, again, take me back a couple of months ago. When you knew that he was going to get traded, when you heard that he was going to get traded to Green Bay, were you surprised? Were you shocked? I mean, what were you?
I wasn't stunned just because it was taking so long and the rhetoric had gotten so negative, especially from Jerry Jones, where he was like, look, if we wanted to get it done, we could have got it done. I spoke to him. He said he wanted me to deal with his agent. I don't want to deal with his agent. I don't even know his agent's name. Like, again, these are things that you don't say out loud. And the fact that they were being repeatedly said out loud, it didn't stun me when they traded. I think a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they traded him. But I don't think anyone was, if they followed what had been happening, could have been completely surprised because, again, the rhetoric, but at the same time, you all knew this was not going to help Dallas in the short term, and it was going to help the Packers in the short term. Now, maybe the compensation the Cowboys get back will eventually help them, but will Dak Prescott be in his prime and playing like he is this year when they get that compensation back? Because right now, he's having to score 30-plus points a game because their defense is allowing 30-plus points a game.
Their defense is the worst in the NFC. If you're talking about points allowed, which to me is the only thing that matters, They have allowed 206 points. No other team in the NFC is even close to 200 points. They've allowed 206. And, you mentioned Prescott, and I've been tough on him because I have always been critical of how he performs in big games. But to me, he's having this season that Joe Burrow had last year, right? Burrow was great last year, but the team wasn't. And, the Cowboys are hanging in there. I got to give them credit. They're hanging in there, 3-3-1. But Prescott is playing as well as anyone, isn't he?
He's playing right there. I mean, Daniel Jones, him, the quarterback play, Justin Herbert. I mean, just some of the level of quarterback play that we're seeing from guys that maybe we did or didn't expect is impressive, especially Dak. But, and speaking to some coaches in the offseason, they were like, look, Brian Schottenheimer is kind of like the perfect head coach for the situation. He's got the familiarity with Dak being his coordinator the past couple of years. He can design an offense very well with the talent he has on that roster. Plus, organizationally, he's the type of head coach who can let Jerry have the post-game press conferences in the locker room and not be offended by it. So the way Dak is playing, the way this offense as a whole is playing is super impressive. It's just that defense is not playing well. And Grant, you honestly have to save yourself. As poorly as they're playing as an overall unit, would Micah Parsons make that much of a difference? He'd make a difference, yes. But would he compensate for everything that's breaking down on that side of the ball? It's kind of like the old Nnamdi Asomugha question that the Raiders used to have. We're paying this guy all this money, but our defense still is. We're still losing ball games without him, or with him. I'm sorry.
Do you expect, Steve, a busy period here coming up at the beginning of November with the trade deadline, the complexities with the cap and everything? But there are some big names that look like they might be available. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there could be. I mean, of course, Trey Hendrickson, the edge rusher, is going to probably be one of the bigger names. Breece Hall, running back, the bigger names that could be moved. It's one of these things where it takes two to tango. And I think what happens over the next week or two, record-wise with teams, is going to really shape that. Will the Bengals move off Hendrickson if they lose their next couple of games and kind of maybe really fall out of contention? Will, the Jets want to move a Breece Hall or someone like that if they continue losing? Will the Raiders want to sell off some of their parts, like a Jacoby Myers? So I think there's going to be a decent amount of activity. We've seen this new generation of general managers be far more active with in-season trades. I don't know if it's going to be anything that's going to shift, but we saw a couple of years ago when Byron Young got traded to the Seattle Seahawks. That shifted the overall tenor of their defense, and he's been fantastic for them. So, I'm sorry, Ernest Jones, not Byron Young, Ernest Jones. But so there are certain pieces that can help teams get over the hump a little bit. We'll see if any of those happen when the trade deadline comes, but there'll be some movement for sure.
Steve, I want to talk to you about the NFL Network because you've been there for 17 years. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking with Steve Sands of the Golf Channel and NBC Sports, and he entered the Golf Channel right when they were starting. And you look at what that has evolved to, and I look at the NFL Network from when you were there, and you've seen the changes, and now it's like, wow, NFL Network, NFL Network. I mean, you've seen such amazing growth. What stands out to you the most over your tenure at the NFL Network from when you first began?
Well, when I first began, we were in 10 million homes. We were really heavy, online, trying to figure out our distributorship. And we're a real small shop. We had 4 reporters, and at the time I was based in Atlanta, and I was the westernmost reporter. Now we're, massive enterprise with, the streaming stuff, with NFL Plus, with, our digital product. There's just we grew to be a true network now. We know the NFL is going to be selling off a large chunk of this to ESPN. The owners today kind of ratified, the vote to go ahead and engage in that sale, and everything now has to be regulated and all of that. So we'll see where that takes us. But just clearly the value of being able to show, with 6, 7 international games, to have a great wealth of talent behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, in so many different realms. Again, we went from just a startup shop that basically covered the half of a building to being in a 6-story building right next to SoFi Stadium. So it's been a huge, huge growth, but just the overall change in the media landscape with streaming coming in and being so disruptive, it's kind of lent itself to some of the upcoming changes that'll be happening to our place.
Again, you can see Steve on NFL Game Day Kickoff tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific on NFL Network, leading up to the Vikings-Chargers on Thursday Night Football. Steve, it's great to hear your voice again. It's great to catch up with you. I love your work. I've really enjoyed knowing you over all of these years, and I wish you the best. Safe travels, and continue up the great work, my friend.
Same here, Grant, and all the best to you.
Thank you. That's Steve Weish, NFL Network. Good stuff as the week begins tomorrow, Thursday Night Football with the Vikings and the Chargers. But it is opening night with the NBA for the Sacramento Kings. What do you think? What's the win total going to be? Who do you start tonight? What will the starting lineup look like on Friday? Will the starting lineup continue to change when the Kings have certain matchups where you need size? Will Isaac Jones start on Friday, for instance, assuming that he's good to go from his illness? Or will it factor into tonight and how well the starting 5 plays? And at what point do you think we'll have a consistent starting 5 with Sacramento? I don't think you're going to see that until Keegan Murray comes back. And as far as Sabonis, listen, I'm speculating here, and it is only speculation. I can't imagine him being ruled out for not only tonight, but Friday night, and then all of a sudden be able to go against the Lakers. I just don't see it. And not only do I not see it, he's the one player that you cannot afford to have out of the lineup for a prolonged period of time. So I'm not ruling him out because the Kings haven't ruled him out, but you play the Lakers on Sunday, all right, and then you hit the road. And your road trip is going to be difficult. It starts Tuesday in Oklahoma City. So I got to believe he's not playing on Sunday. And so these 3 games are crucial when you look at that first road trip of the year for Doug with Oklahoma City, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Denver. Give me a call or continue the text message. This one, Grayson is playing tonight. If he's on and he scores 20 plus, that is not good. No, it is not. No, it is not. Said, I'm with you about starting Keon if you go small. I didn't say about starting Keon. I never brought that up. I just said I think he is somebody that you can go with for a lot of minutes off the bench. I don't think he's going to start, and I didn't say that. 916-779-0929. Give me your thoughts, your phone calls. We'll talk more Kings NBA coming up right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Looking for the best happy hour in town? Head to Bennett's, where every day from 2 to 6, you'll find flavor, fun, and serious value. Enjoy over 10 wines by the glass, country club style cocktails like lemon drops, skinny margaritas, and crave-worthy share plates. Short rib tacos, chicken wings, calamari, and more, starting at just $6. It's upscale without the uptight. 3 locations, Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. Join us today or check out the menu at bennettsrestaurants.com.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Fox Sports Sacramento is proud to support Runnin' for Rhett's annual Farm to Fort fundraiser at Sutter's Fort. This event benefits Runnin' for Rhett's youth fitness program. 100% of the proceeds raised help thousands of children each year get the opportunity to participate in living healthier lives through better fitness and nutrition. 2025's Farm to Fort is sold out, but you can still help support Rhett's dream to inspire, uplift, and encourage all to take the first step and move into life. Please visit runninforrhett.org and learn more. That's runninforrhett.org.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems. And now that the calendar has hit October, you're probably not rushing to grab your sweaters and jackets just yet. But before long, it will get chilly. Will your heater work to your satisfaction? Well, right now at DAS Mechanical, they have a $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup. So take advantage of this early by going to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org. Whether it's for your home or business, with amazing financing options available, including 0% interest for 18 months, this family-owned and operated business since 2018 will take care of your heating and air needs. Take advantage of this $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup now. Go online, dasmechanical.org. You can schedule online. Look at their 5-star reviews. That's dasmechanical.org.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My thanks to Steve Weish, NFL Network. We are getting a lot of predictions from the text line. I predict 39 wins, too many injuries already. I don't disagree with that. I don't think they're going to win 40. I really don't. I think they've been snake bit already here early in the season. Rhino, you've been out at practice most every day, and you've been talking with the fellas, and we've been talking about the impact of the injuries. What do you think about my idea if the Kings go small tonight? Just put Nick Clifford out. I mean, he's been one of your best players in the preseason. Roll him out there. We keep on talking about this is not really about this year, right? I mean, when we look at the big picture of this team, we keep on talking about the future. Even Scott Perry has not talked about wins and losses when he talks about his goals for this year. So why not just start Nick Clifford?
You know why I wouldn't? He's had some foul trouble in these preseason games, and I want to get him into a spot with maybe the second unit or a couple of the bench guys on the floor for Phoenix and let him get into the flow from there with the game already going. Let him sit a few minutes, see what the pace is going to be, get an idea for the speed, and then put him in. That's just me personally, but I could see why Doug would go to him.
All right. What do you think? 916-779-0929. Hey, I want to tell you about Village Financial Group. I've known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein For over 25 years, that's when he began his family-owned business. And if you are looking for a home equity line of credit, are you buying a home? Maybe you're selling a home. Let me tell you about Spence. He's very experienced. He's a financing specialist, very creative, and he has access to private money. Call or text Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. And be sure and ask for the investor special. And you go to VFGloans.com. You can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Hey, it makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. 916-779-0929. As the Suns, they are down a starter, Jalen Green. So the Suns are down one starter. The Kings are down two starters and a player that may have started tonight. But, I mean, if Murray and Sabonis were healthy, he wouldn't have started, but would have played tonight, I think, in Isaac Jones. He's not available. This is a very thin front line going against the Suns tonight, Rhino. Very thin.
Yeah, but like you said, this is not a big team. So the Kings are catching a break there, but it is a team that had some success in the preseason. They were 3-1. They beat the Lakers twice. So it shows that they can play a certain style when they want to. To me, I want to ask, and I think you're right about this, you got to have two different starting lineups. Now, you don't want to rotate them too much, but I think you have to have those two different units until Keegan Murray gets back. You're spot on there.
We're going to find out a lot about this Sacramento Kings team in the next 48 hours. Again, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. And when I mean what we're going to find out a lot, we're going to find out if what we saw in the preseason is really the team that we're going to see in the first couple of games, meaning they were disjointed at times, too many three-pointers allowed, high three-point shooting percentage, bad starts in a couple of the games. So, we can talk about the Kings. We can talk about the NFL with the Week 8 starting tomorrow with the Chargers and the Vikings. We can talk about anything going on in the National Football League, college football, the NBA. It's all on the table for you as we have opening night here for the NBA and the Kings. All right, let's get to some phone calls, and we start with Bill in Citrus Heights. Hello, Bill.
Hey, Grant. I don't think it's unreasonable what Woody Johnson said. He's an owner. And
you're the only one.
Not like.
Go ahead.
Well, no, it says that, hey, I pay a lot of money for a guy to perform. And if somebody asks me a question, I'll give a damn answer directly. And he is accurate. Do you think that Justin Fields has earned his money?
I don't think anybody on the Jets has earned their money. I think that they have been a real disappointment for the fans in New York. Now, they were competitive in a couple of games in which, Fields did week 1, he played pretty well, against Pittsburgh. The last few games, he has not played well, and I would agree with you. But if you're an owner, you do not take a player and embarrass that player in front of the media. It's just a wrong way to approach things, because here's the domino effect of this, Bill. There are 52 other players in that locker room, and they're looking at this owner, and they're like, get me the hell out of this organization. That's exactly what's going on now.
Well, maybe 52 should not be in the NFL because they're not performing either. And
now all right, but let me add up to this. They lost to Pittsburgh 34-32. They lost to Tampa on a fluke. I shouldn't say fluke, on a blocked field goal, 29-27. They lost to Miami by 6 points. They were in London and lost to Denver, who's 5-2 by 2 points, and they just lost to Carolina by 7 points. So they've been competitive. They just have not been able to win. And I would agree with you, Justin Fields has not played well. That's not a secret. He has not played well. But is he the only reason why the Jets are 0-7? I mean, there are a lot of other failures that have occurred, including the head coach, who has made some very, very peculiar decisions during this 7-game losing streak.
The head coach has a record that Justin Fields does not have.
Well, he's never been a head coach before. I don't know about that.
Well, I know, but he's been an outstanding coach. Supporting, Detroit, and he's been a great coach.
Well, I could say Justin Fields was great at Ohio State, but I mean, what does that mean? I mean, I understand your point, but I disagree with you. And listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't agree with you. And I think the vast majority of people don't agree with you. And I can tell you this, the New York tabloids are destroying Woody Johnson today, destroying him. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, they are destroying him.
Well, so what? One owner I appreciate. I appreciate Jerry Jones because
if you appreciate Jerry Jones and you think that Woody Johnson and his comments are fine, maybe that's the problem. Maybe you don't really care about winning. I mean, seriously, because what Jerry Jones hasn't won anything since the mid-'90s. His team has, I think, 3 playoff wins since the 90s. And now you're defending Woody Johnson, who's the team is the biggest embarrassment in the National Football League. Maybe you don't care about winning when you talk about giving these guys props because they're 2 of the worst franchises in the National Football League if you're looking at wins and losses.
Can I respond?
Yes, please.
What I'm saying in terms of Jerry Jones is that, he says, okay, I'm the general manager. I make the decisions. If they screw up, it's on him. And, he never beats up on his players. But, at least he's out there in front of everybody. And, an owner is out there in front of it as compared to, say, our local team.
Yeah, it's definitely different styles. I mean, I can't remember, Bill, the last time that Vivek Ranadive spoke to the media. I can't remember it. It's been a long time, has it not?
No, it's been a long time. So, I give credit for, owners who sit there and, that's just my perspective. Thank you,
Bill,
sir.
I really appreciate the call. You have a good afternoon. Thanks very much.
You too.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. I don't agree with him, but I appreciate his perspective, and I'm glad he took time to call the show. I don't agree with him. Rhino, you can't have an owner making comments like that where if we could only complete a pass. I mean, there's a difference between being critical and being insulting. I mean, that's an insulting comment coming from an owner of any team. That's just insulting.
Yeah, and there's also harder things being completed on the field right now than completing a pass. Just the center quarterback exchange for one.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a tone-deaf, idiotic thing to say. But I do agree with Bill in Citrus Heights. I appreciate Jerry Jones.
What do you appreciate about him?
He's an endless content factory. I love Jerry Jones for that.
Okay, but do you want the owner of your favorite team to be a content creator, or do you want him to put a good product on the field that has a chance of winning?
Well, they're not my favorite team. So
okay, well, let's say they were your favorite team. What do you think the majority of Dallas Cowboy fans think of Jerry Jones? I can tell you what they think because I have a lot of friends down there, both in the media and Cowboy fans. They can't wait to the day that he's no longer running the franchise.
There's a large majority that think that. There's also a majority that drink his Kool-Aid. I told you about the Micah Parsons trade. It was already going across the Cowboys radio station. This is a great move. We're building towards the future, yada, yada, yada. So you also have those that are Jerry washed. Is that Jerry washed? Does that work? I think that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey,
I'm a bottom line guy. I'm a wins and losses guy in professional sports because that's what you play for, unless you know that a team is completely in a rebuilding mode and everyone in the organization and the fans know that. And you go, okay, well, it is going to take some time. And these are the steps that the organization says they're going to do. And it's time to start over and let's go. And then you understand, right? But
yeah,
I mean, there aren't a lot of teams that do that. The majority of teams, I can tell you this, the majority of teams in the NBA right now, here we are, and we haven't even started the games yet. They're thinking they're going to surprise people this year and that they have a chance to be in the postseason. All right, there's maybe 2 or 3 teams that aren't thinking that way right now.
Sure. It's the optimism of the new season. It's a blank slate. Everybody starts off the same that hasn't played yet. I will say this. Steve Weish talked about would the defense for Dallas have done much better with Micah Parsons. However, trading Micah to me was a message. If I'm Dak Prescott, if I'm CeeDee Lamb, that's a message from ownership that we're not good enough. Like, we're not good enough right now. I don't believe in the product that's on the field. So that, to me, was the bigger troubling thing. And speaking of Jerry's, guess who I talked to during the break?
Who did you talk to?
Mr. Jerry Reynolds, who is listening out there, confirming that he will be with us for 5 good minutes tonight on the post-game show. Can't wait for that.
5 minutes?
5 good minutes.
Oh, 5 good minutes.
Good
Well,
minutes.
I think it's going to be a lot more than 5 good minutes, but we also have to be cognizant of Jerry's bedtime.
Yes.
So, he might be 6 minutes or 7 minutes. I am looking forward to that and having us all together again. And we'll be on right after the game on, if you don't like that, also on X. So make sure you join us on the post-game show right after the Kings and the Suns. So what do you think? What's your number? How many games are the Kings winning this year?
You're going to hold me to that. I'm going to say 37.
All right. My number has dropped due to the injuries. And my numbers haven't dropped considerably because I think Nick Clifford is going to give them a boost. But I also think this is going to be a fire sale in the middle of the season. So I think that several of the players that are key players right now will be gone by February. Therefore, I think their losses will pile up more at the end of the year. So I'm going to go with 32.
32.
Yep.
And when you say fire sale and several key players, is there any that come to mind?
Well, I think DeMar DeRozan will be on the move. I think Malik Monk will be on the move. How could I not think that Malik Monk would be on the move if his name was in the rumor mill all summer? Now, you know me. I'm not normally one that, will die on the sword, over rumors. Okay. I'm not, but there were just too many of them.
Yeah.
Okay. There were too many of them to think that he won't be going somewhere.
And you got to remember the Kings were reaching out to teams about interest in Malik Monk. It's not like teams were reaching out to the Kings. And as the season goes along, as teams don't stay on the timelines, as guys go down, you will have a bigger market for Malik.
All right, 916-779-0929, 916-779-0929. And the reason why I said DeRozan is he's a really good player, and there are going to be teams right around the deadline that may have had an injury or feel like they are really close, and they need that one guy to get them over the top that can give them a legitimate chance in the postseason. And I think DeRozan will be that guy for teams.
Bold prediction.
Bold prediction.
Orlando.
Wow. Well, that would be something if they got him, because Orlando, I think, is a top 3 team in the East. I think they're a top 3 team. It's opening night. I don't want to get carried away. But that Cavaliers-Knicks game is interesting, but the Knicks are down 2 key players, so I don't know how much we can take from that. So I would expect Cleveland to go into MSG and win this game tonight. But it's just an interesting opening night game.
It is. It's also interesting that opening night last year, Mike Brown was the coach here, and now both New York teams are coached by past Kings coaches.
How about that? Jordy Fernandez with the Nets. They are projected to be the worst team or one of the worst teams in the East. So 1 hour in the books, 2 hours left. 916-779-0929. Opening night for the Sacramento Kings. What do you think? How many wins? Is this season going to turn south in a hurry? And in a hurry, that would be an 0-2 start against 2 teams that are projected to fall below you in the standings. We'll talk about this next. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Sports traffic. Some heavy rush hour delays still plaguing us throughout the Sacramento area, like Cap City Freeway in between Marconi Avenue and Exposition Boulevard, US 50 eastbound, westbound in between 65th Street and the I-5 interchange. You two are dealing with about a 30 to 35 extra minute drive time through there. And the eastbound side of I-80, anywhere from about Richards Boulevard out to about Enterprise Boulevard, heavy rush hour delays as well. With Twice an Hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
The NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. DraftKings Pick 6 is the easiest way to play for big wins, with every possession giving you a shot at real money. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more stats and unlock the upside every game brings. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. Pick 6 is available in your state. Plus, new DraftKings customers can get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KSAC. That's code KSAC. Play just $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouthwatering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit HQNightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems. And now that the calendar has hit October, you're probably not rushing to grab your sweaters and jackets just yet. But before long, it will get chilly. Will your heater work to your satisfaction? Well, right now at DAS Mechanical, they have a $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup. So take advantage of this early by going to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org. Whether it's for your home or business, with amazing financing options available, including 0% interest for 18 months, this family-owned and operated business since 2018 will take care of your heating and air needs. Take advantage of this $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup now. Go online, dasmechanical.org. You can schedule online, look at their 5-star reviews. That's dasmechanical.org.
Tell your friends, Grant's back! Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 2, talking about opening night for the Sacramento Kings, the 40th anniversary for the Kings. 40 years, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Somebody wanted to know if I remember my first opening night. Oh, do I ever? Yes, I remember it very, very well. In Portland, 1988 at the old Coliseum, very quaint building. And I'll never forget walking in there for shoot around the morning of the game. And it was such a cool experience for me to be into that building for the first time. And the great history of the Portland Trailblazers in that building and some phenomenal teams that played in that building. And so first and foremost, just the history of being in that building was pretty cool for me because I had never been to Portland before. And I love traveling, so I had a chance to see a different part of the world. I had never been to the Pacific Northwest before. And I remember just the incredible connection that the fans had with the Blazers. And I was only there for a little less than 24 hours. But I remember being in a taxi and the taxi driver talking about the Blazers. I remember being at a restaurant and hearing people next to me talking about the Blazers. I just was like, wow, like Blazer Mania was alive and well in the Pacific Northwest. And so I remember it very well, staying at the Red Lion Inn, not too far from the arena. Boy, how things have changed now about where we stay when we used to travel. That's changed. But I remember the buildup. And then I remember getting a phone call on the hotel phone, pre-cell phones. Yeah, you remember back then? Yeah, I know most of you don't. Yeah, that's right. No one had phones. Yes, that's how we lived. And so the phone rings at about 4:00. And I answer the phone, and it's Tom Curran. And Tom had done the games on Channel 13 the previous 3 years. And then Channel 31 won the rights to do the Kings. And I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and the rest is history. And Tom and I got to be really, really good friends, and we actually worked together years later when he left sports and went into news. And Tom and Karen King were the news anchors on Channel 31, and both went on to have phenomenal careers. Karen, to this day, is still an anchor in her hometown of Dallas, and Tom went and worked in Tampa, and unfortunately just passed away in the last year. He was dealing with Parkinson's, and we lost him at just way too early of an age. He was a great man. But Tom calls me, and he says, Grant, it's Tom Curran. And he said, hey, I'm just calling to wish you the very best. And he said, I'd be lying to you if I said this wasn't a hard day for me, but I'm really happy for you. And we talked for a couple of moments, and I just thought, like, wow. Like, that was a wow moment for me. Like, you just, pay it forward, right? And if your hardship, opens up the door for somebody else, don't be negative and don't feel sorry for yourself. Like, embrace that, right? Because there are other opportunities that are going to be coming your way. And they did for Tom. And Tom had an amazing career, but he loved doing the NBA. I mean, who wouldn't, right? It's phenomenal to announce games. And Tom did a tremendous job. And so I'll never forget that phone call that I received in the afternoon around 4:00. And I remember, going over to the arena on the team bus. And I remember, getting ready for the game. And we had a producer from St. Louis. Bud Sports produced our games back then. Okay. And so I was introduced to some phenomenal talent in the TV truck, which is so important. I remember the guy that did the graphics. His name was Mike Helling, and Mike had done so many big time events. Lou was the producer for the Big Red Machine in Cincinnati. And he used to tell me all the stories about Sparky and Johnny Bench and Pete Rose, because he traveled with them. He was with them on the road all the time. And the stories were just unbelievable. And Lou became a mentor for me early in my career. And he became somebody that turned into a really good friend of mine. And the same with Mike Helling. And I was so blessed to work with such a professional crew early on in my career. But I remember the production meeting that I had. I did the game with Ted Green. Ted at the time was on with Roy Firestone on his, I think it was called Up Close. Everyone watched Roy. Roy had the most amazing interviews. He had a unbelievably successful show. and Ted was his wingman and was an on-air contributor, got Roy all of his guests. Ted was so well connected. Like, Ted knew everyone. Like, no matter where we went, it used to blow me away how many people would come up and talk to Ted, or if Ted needed to get someone on the show. I mean, he was incredible. He had amazing contacts. So that was pretty cool to be working with him. But, I remember just getting ready for the game, the nervousness, the adrenaline, the fact that I was getting ready to fulfill a lifelong dream, even though I was only 28. It had been my dream since I was a kid in grade school. I always wanted to, be a play-by-play announcer, and to be getting ready to call an NBA game that night in November of 1988 was something I'll never forget. And then, of course, you're going against a team that was a championship quality team with Terry Porter and Clyde Drexler in the backcourt, right? Jerome Kersey with Buck Williams, Kevin Duckworth, Mike Schuler was the head coach. And little did I realize, at that point in my career, that some of the people that were on the other side would end up being really, they would be incredible, I guess, experiences for me in my life. Rick Adelman was on that staff. Mike was the head coach. And then when Mike lost his job, Rick took over. And then, of course, you know the history with Rick in Sacramento. But, Mike was an assistant coach with Sacramento for a number of years and was just a phenomenal guy. I can't begin to tell you the hours and hours and hours and hours of conversations that I had with Mike Schuler. He was funny. He would needle me. We would go back and forth, whether it was on the bus or on the bench before the games. He was a real treasure. And so, little did I know on that November night in 1988 that two of the coaches on that team would have impacts on my life in a way that I could have never imagined, because I wasn't doing talk radio back then. And little did I know that, Rick would be on with me every week for 8 years during the basketball season. And I got to know him and his family very well. And now I look at the success of David Adelman and what he's done in a very brief amount of time in Denver. So you just never know. Like, you just don't know, right? So it's a new experience. It's a new world. And then the game starts. And, I was nervous, but I wasn't nervous with fear. I was just nervous, like adrenaline nervous. There's a difference, right? You can be nervous because you're not sure if you're able to do something, and you get that type of nervousness. I knew I could do it. Like, I wasn't worried about that, although it's not really up to me to determine that. It's up to my audience. And I've always shared the story that after the first home game, which is the second game at the new arena, in which the commissioner, David Stern, was there, and Greg Lukenbill and his partners dressed in a tuxedo doing the game. I mean, it was an amazing night driving to Arco Arena for the first home game in the brand new building. I mean, incredible. But to this day, I'm grateful for the fact that, Dan Vieira of the Sacramento Bee and Steve Kennedy for the Sacramento Union. Sacramento used to have two papers. That's correct. Both wrote very positive reviews on my play-by-play and doing the games. And they really put me on the map. The Kings put me on the map, but they really helped accelerate that process, because you can't control what someone's going to say about you. You can't control what somebody's going to write about you. And they both gave me very positive reviews. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. I look back at some of the early things in my career, but that opening night, 1988, I could sink or I could swim. And I wasn't going to sink. The team might have, drowned, but I wasn't going to go with them. I was going to make sure that I was going to do a job that was going to be well received, that I could be proud of. And little did I know that would be the first of 32 straight years of announcing Sacramento Kings basketball, which I am grateful for. But yeah, I'll never remember that first opening night. I'll never remember the phone call that I received from Tom Curran. I'll never remember riding over on the bus and the anticipation of being in a capacity crowd, doing an NBA game. I mean, I had fulfilled a lifelong dream. It's a night that I will never, ever forget. And I reflect back on it at times. I reflect back on being in that city in that moment and how fortunate that I was. That was another thing that kept on going through my mind, like how blessed I was and fortunate to be in that situation. But I also wanted to tell you that I wanted to put into the individuals that gave me this opportunity, I wanted to instill in them immediately that they didn't make a mistake, okay? Because we didn't have preseason games back then that we were televising. So I was being introduced to the Sacramento market for the first time because, as I told you, nobody was watching Channel 31 News back then. So that was the first time that the majority of Sacramento fans found out about me. They didn't know me, never heard of me. And here I am all of a sudden, you know, as a kid, and I still considered myself a kid at the time, doing NBA basketball. So it was like not only my first game, but it was for many, many people in Sacramento, their introduction to me. So there were a lot of things. Somebody said on the 916, Grant, in 1988, the Red Line was an amazing hotel chain on the West Coast. That's from Lynn. Yes, I totally understand that. El Gaucho, best steakhouse in Portland. You are spot on Broadway. I used to go to El Gaucho every single time I was in Portland. And the El Gauchos in Seattle are phenomenal too. But the El Gaucho in Portland with a cigar lounge connected to the restaurant was unbelievable. Love going to El Gaucho. Absolutely loved going there and would go there. And many times I would sit at the bar and eat, and I got to know the bartender there very well. And this is when I found out about the impact of MLS. So I'm having dinner at the bar at El Gaucho, and I'm talking to the bartender that I've gotten to know over the years. And the Portland Timber are playing Seattle, the Sounders, in the MLS playoffs. Right? Now, I don't know anything about soccer at the MLS. I've never watched it. And he was telling me that getting a ticket to see the Timber play was the hardest ticket in years. And I'm like, you're kidding me. And he's like, no. He goes, Blazers, no problem. He goes, Timber, oh, you can't get tickets to go see the Timber play. And I'm like, you're kidding. He said, no, I'm not kidding. And he went into it, and he really taught me a lot about the MLS and what it meant to the city of Portland, and of course the great success story in Seattle. But that rivalry, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget sitting at El Gaucho in Portland and talking to the bartender. And that was something that I did a lot. I used to go out at times, weeknights, go out to eat somewhere if I was going alone. And you know, when you travel to the same city every single year, you get to know the places that you like and are your favorite restaurants. And, you know, if you don't get others that are going out that night to eat, you go out by yourself. And I've met so many phenomenal bartenders that work at restaurants. And I used to just eat at the bar because there would always be a TV with the game on somewhere. So I love to watch games, as you know, and I would sit and talk to these individuals, and they would find out what I do. And then I'd be back the following month or 4 months, or maybe if it was only once a year on the East, I'd be back the following year. And, hey, how you doing? Good, man. Great to see you. How are you? And we'd strike up a conversation. It was like just kind of like home away from home. So those are some of the things that I remember. But opening night, there's nothing like opening night because the coaches are feeling good about things. The players are feeling good about things. The eternal optimist, everybody's being positive. Oh, you know, we've got a chance to do this. We've had a good camp. We've got a chance to do that. And really, I mean that. It's a very positive time of the year. All right? It's a very positive time of the year. And I'll never forget opening night because I worked many years where the Kings were one of the worst teams in the league, right? One of the worst teams in the league. And it didn't matter. When you walked in on opening night, it was just a feel of anticipation and hope. Hope. Absolutely hope. And if you were projected to win 20 games that year, you walked in with hope. If you were projected to win 60 games, it was different. I mean, opening night with the Kings in the early 2000s was like, how many wins are they going to have this year? Are they going to have 60 or are they going to have 55? That's a whole different feeling, by the way. That's a hope based on what's going to happen. But boy, when I started doing the Kings, there wasn't a lot of hope, but yet on opening night, it was there. It was there. But that opening night with Terry Porter and Clyde Drexler, Kersey, Williams, and Duckworth, amazing. 12,000 plus in that building, incredible. And then turning around and just 2 nights later having the opening night and the first game at Arco Arena. I was blessed. I announced the first game in that building and the last game. And so I reflect back on opening night, and here we are with the Kings and the Suns. And I don't think many people are expecting the Kings to do any earth-shattering things this year. But what are your expectations? I love talking about expectations. I've talked about this with Rhino. My expectations for the Kings this year are a lot more losses than wins, but my expectations are one of hope revolving around Nick Clifford and Max Reno, because I want to get to the All-Star break and I want to get to the end of April, and I want to be able to say, wow, you can hang your hat on both of those, especially Nick. I mean, you need a special player. You can hang your hat on him, that he's somebody that you get hope from, that when you watch him play, you're like, okay. Scott Perry made a great pick. You've got a guy that is going to bring hope to the franchise. Hope's a beautiful thing. When you don't have hope, it's a real bad thing. When you have hope, it's a beautiful thing. And that's what I'm hoping for this year, because I'm not expecting a lot of wins. I think this is going to be a really arduous year for the Kings. I think you're going to have a lot of losses, but if you can get into the offseason with hope, hope is a beautiful thing. We'll talk more about this. I want to get your thoughts, what your hope is. What are your expectations on opening night 2025, the 40th, 40 years in Sacramento? 916-779-0929, The Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic, taking another look at the roadways. Some heavy rush hour delays starting to impede your commute home. I-5 southbound in between Del Paso Road to about Richards Boulevard. You add an additional 15 minutes of drive time. On the northbound side in between 43rd Avenue and Richards Boulevard, you two are dealing with about a 15 to 20 minute drive time through there. Eastbound, westbound US 50, very sluggish from top of the town freeway out to Howe Avenue. About 20-25 added minutes to that drive time. I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Traffic brought to you by Gabroods Electrical. Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, and always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues with Gabroods. GUBRUDS.com.
After the mildest summer in decades, the fall is here. It's time for back to school, football, and wearing sweats around the house. And for homeowners, the end of summer means it's time to call Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort to schedule a heating and air system inspection. With California's insane energy prices, it's critical to make sure your system is running efficiently. Sierra Pacific's heating and air techs will thoroughly inspect and tune up your system so it runs like new. And if you own an older home, Sierra Pacific does complete HVAC system replacements. And if the cost of a new heating and air system for the house seems out of reach, Sierra Pacific offers flexible financing options so that you can start enjoying the benefits of your new heating and air system this winter. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We continue our conversation opening night. 4 things tonight that I'm wondering about. How many minutes will Keon Ellis play? How many minutes will Nick Clifford play? Will Max Reno be part of the rotation? Okay. And number 4, will Eubanks and whomever starts at the 4 be able to stay out of foul trouble? Let's get to some phone calls, and we say hello to Ron in Sacramento. Hey, Ron, welcome to the program.
Hello. How are you, Grant?
Good, Ron. What's going on?
Let's take a step to last year. Now, I remember when Monk would come off the bench, and the team would be like wearing lead boots, and then he'd come off the bench and fire the team up. And I liked that position for him. He became a starter later, but I liked his energy and his effect upon the Kings' energy during the first half of the year, if not more. You could correct me if I'm wrong.
You need that spark coming off the bench. I think that's his best role. I like Malik as a 6th man as opposed to a starter, and I think that all teams need to have that player. And when Malik is on, I think he's very valuable to the team in that position. I agree with you.
Oh, good. So anyway,
thank you, Ron.
Here's something about Big Joe. You know, Joe Klein.
Yeah.
I remember him being an excellent free throw from the free throw line. His percentage was often over 90%. So it was never spoke of, talked about, but that's how I remember Joe. He was Shaquille's opposite.
Ron, I appreciate you chiming in. You have a good afternoon. Enjoy the game tonight. Let's get to Dorian. Dorian, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Grant? What's going on right now? You know, opening night's always one of my favorites, man. I've been blessed to go to the last 5 opening nights now as an adult, and I usually always sit. You know, like I go to one to 3 games a year usually, and I was really lucky to go to the all the playoff games against the Warriors. But I usually sit about 7 rows up behind the backboard. It's always really just an amazing experience for myself and for my girlfriend when we go together because we love the Kings. I've been a Kings fan my whole life, and just the energy. No matter if the season's going to go bad or good or whatever the expectations are, it's just the energy, the environment, the aura. I mean, everybody wearing purple. I just really feel like it's a great bonding moment for Sacramento and Sacramento fans.
How many games do you have the Kings winning this year, Dorian?
I got them going 40 wins, Grant. 40 and 42, just like last year, this past season.
Okay.
I don't really have a lot of expectations, but I'm hoping that if the Kings don't do well, I'm hoping that DeRozan can find a home because I'm a big DeRozan fan. You know, I'd like to see him win a championship or at least be a contender, and I don't want to see him rotting here in Sacramento, man. Just because I think he's had a really great career, and I hate to see good players just either retire or just kind of end their last couple seasons as a King when they're not doing as a King when they're not doing very well, man. So I'm hoping that the Kings can find him a good home if the season's going bad. But I don't really understand with this roster. I don't know how the pieces are going to fit. I mean, there's a lot of different pieces. Like if you look at the pieces here on paper, you're like, wow, this team can actually has some pretty good potential. And arguably last year, I think the Kings have had the best roster, you know, with Fox, DeRozan, and that starting lineup than the Kings have had in a long time. And I really thought that they were going to do some really, really great damage. But I don't really know about this year, Grant. I don't really have a lot of expectations. I'm just hoping that, it's a positive season, and I'm really hoping the Kings can make the playoffs again. But I don't know. I don't really see that happening with all these different pieces. And obviously, you have a couple injuries already, which, you know, Murray and Sabonis are not going to be out for very long. But I don't know how this team's going to mesh, Grant.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Dorian, good hearing from you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Grant. See ya.
All right, take care. That's good stuff from Dorian. Let's get to some more phone calls at 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929. We say hello to Tay. Tay, you're on Fox Sports Sacramento. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Hey, Grant. Thank you so much for taking my call. I agree that, we should also have expectations for this season. My personal expectation is I want some Kings to get some national recognition, whether that matters or not. I want to see Zach LaVine make the All-Star team, if he shoots at the rate that he did at the preseason. And I also want to see Nick Clifford make the first team All-Rookie. I think that will be, just a great recognition for the team in general. Just real quick about the Rockets. I don't know if you were able to catch the game last night against the Thunder. What did you think about the two big starting lineups? I was surprised to see Steven Adams start along with Eng Shingun, and Udoka is a hell of a good coach, and that was a hell of a game. Rockets looks like a real deal, and Sengun looks like a superstar already.
Wow. Shengun was unbelievable last night. I mean, he was really, really impressive last night to a point where you were like, oh, if he stays healthy, watch out. I don't put too much into one game when you ask me what I think about, their lineup. And they've got talent. I just wonder, as the season evolves, Tay, how the impact of no Fred VanVleet is going to affect the team. It didn't really affect them last night. I mean, they were able to score. And really, when you look back, they probably should have won the game, and they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Sengun just looks like a superstar out there, and that starting lineup was huge with Amin Thompson as the point guard. So
yeah, that was
to
incredible.
Your point, it's just one game, but I'm just curious to see how Rockets as a team will surprise the league with their super big lineup if they stay at this rate. Obviously, they need to win games to prove that. So, all right, thanks for taking my call, Grant. Appreciate it.
Okay, my pleasure. Thank you very much. We get to BJ. BJ, welcome to the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento. What's going on, buddy?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm here at work, so I can't stay on too long. Expectations, 31 to 34 wins. I'll stick with the 31 on the low end. I hope the bets do ask for trades. It'll help us in the long run. And my prediction is that Neek. My prediction when I went to the rookie camp in Vegas was that Neek was going to surprise a lot of people and that we got a good one. And after talking to him for about a half an hour, great kid. He's got a good basketball body on him already. His mind is there. I think we're in for a really good time to be able to watch him. And I hope he gets out there 30 minutes a game. I mean, that might be a lot, but I'll take that. And I think this year is just kind of a mail-in type of year until we incorporate some type of system. And, until the jock sniffer sells the team, it's always going to be like this, honestly. So, but I can say that I've been riding with the Kings since '88. So love you guys. Keep pumping it out. Grant is back and kicking ass. Love you.
Thank you, BJ. Appreciate your support. If you want to get in on the show, 916-779-0929. I don't know if he's going to play 30 minutes every night, especially when you get Murray and Sabonis back. But I could see him playing 30 minutes tonight. I think if he plays well, regardless of whether he starts or comes off the bench, if he plays well, I don't see Doug taking him off the floor. I think he's going to play a lot. Rhino, what do you think? We thought, between 20 and 25 minutes tonight. I'm thinking more towards 25 than 20 for Nick Clifford tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's above 25.
Yeah, this game sets up exactly for that,
yes.
And the team has the complete confidence in him. You've heard DeMar DeRozan say he's a future star in this league. Yep. Dennis Schroeder yesterday at practice talked about him. Russell Westbrook has talked about him as well. The kid's got it. I'm already on record saying he has the best court vision since Tyrese Halliburton as a rookie.
All right. The 916 says, okay, Grant, what if Perry gets back peanuts on a Monk, Levine, DeMar, or Devin Carter? How can he make trades? I think that's why he couldn't trade those that he wanted to before training camp. Well, you're not going to just make a trade for the sake of making a trade. So if he gets back peanuts, the way you phrase it, then he won't make a trade. He's not just going to trade a player to make the roster look different if it doesn't make sense. So that's his job. That's what he has to do. If he's going to trade players, he's got to make sure it works out for his franchise. I mean, plain and simple. All right? You don't want bad trades. As Jerry Reynolds says, you don't get better by trading away good players. That's not what makes you better. Let's get to Adam in Sacramento. Hello, Adam. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Grant. How are you, sir?
Good, Adam.
Hey, listen, I've got a great story, dude, about you, my 10-year-old son, dude, the Sacramento Kings game. Did you want to hear it?
Yes, let's do
I'll
it.
make it short and sweet. So I took my son to his first game ever. He's 10 years old, dude. We go to see the Sacramento Kings back when Weber and Peja and Bobby and all the, that main lineup, and you were the commentator at the time. So back when you were talking about stories about someone you've met that was famous and it changed your life, well, you were that guy for my son, Grant. You were that guy for my son, dude. And I'll tell you what, I knew a spot where the Kings would walk by to go to their locker room after a game, dude. You probably know about this spot, dude. It's a spot at the old Arco Arena that you can go to. Yeah, you know what spot I'm talking about. You might even, I hope you remember this time, dude. So after the game, the Kings lost that game. They were playing the Charlotte Hornets. And the Kings lost that game, dude. They're feeling real bad, dude. And me and my son were there just as the Kings were walking by, and I would yell their name. I watched Chris walk by. He didn't stop. I watched Peja walk by. He didn't stop. I yelled everybody's name, dude, and then Joe Maloof walked by. And I yelled Joe Maloof's name, dude. He'd come down and sign my son's white Kings ball. Then Gavin Maloof walked by. He walked down and signed my son's Kings ball. Then Grant Napear walked by, dude. You came down and signed my son's white Kings ball, dude, and his face lit up, dude. And man, that was just the best story ever. I tell that story to this day, man. I'm glad you're back on the air, Grant. Glad you're back on the air.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that, and means a lot to me that you would take the time to call the show and talk about your experience with your son. Thanks. Really appreciate that. Take care.
Thanks, Grant. Man, be good.
You too. That's probably the thing I missed the most about not being in the arena. It's just dealing with the fans. And I've loved talking to the youth because I remember what it was like being a kid. I was a kid in the stands trying to do the same thing. And I remember having great experiences as a kid. I remember being very disappointed as a kid. So, yeah, I get it. I used to be that kid in the stands. And it would have meant the world and did mean the world to me when I was able to have a rare instance of being close enough to a professional athlete. And that only happened when I went to really the Jets training camp out at Hofstra. And I wasn't even a Jets fan, but we used to go out there just because it was pro football. And, like everyone else, I'm trying to get autographs. I was never, and I really mean this, in all of my years growing up, I was never close enough to the field or ice or court to ever get an autograph. And I didn't even really think about it because we weren't, we were so far away that it never even entered my mind as a kid, other than when we used to go to Hofstra every year where the Jets had training camp. And again, I wasn't even a Jets fan, but they were so good back then. Like they were, well, obviously they won a Super Bowl, but they had iconic players on their team. Iconic, legendary. Obviously, their quarterback, Joe Namath, the most legendary name on the New York Jets, that won a Super Bowl that beat Johnny Unitas and the Colts. So we used to go out there for training camp, and I would try to get autographs. And, yeah, so I've been there. I understand. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. 916-779-0929. Appreciate the phone calls, the text messages. From the 916, what are my thoughts on the NBC broadcast? They are combining points, rebounds, and assists as a total number as a graphic instead of each individual stat. You're talking to the wrong guy. I don't even look at stats. I don't even pay attention to them until after the game, unless it's a run. Like I look at the team's on a 20-2 run or a 20-6 run or what have you. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. So you're asking the wrong individual. And I didn't watch a lot of basketball last night because obviously the first game was on when I was doing my show, and then I did my podcast over on YouTube, and then I peeked in a little bit on the Warriors and the Lakers, but not a lot. So I didn't really notice, and I don't really pay attention to that stuff anyway. But that's just me. I don't really pay attention. Rhino, what do you think on that? You think there's a reason for that, correct?
Yeah, it's gambling. You can take the player prop bets where it's points, assists, rebound totals, over or under.
Okay. So it's 100% a gambling aspect.
Correct. That's my take.
All right. Yeah. And you know what? You probably make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll continue this conversation. Opening night, your memories. What do you think? What are your expectations? Your hope for this Sacramento Kings team? We'll continue this conversation right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hey, everybody, the NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. DraftKings Pick 6 is the easiest way to play for big wins, with every possession giving you a shot at real money. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more stats and unlock the upside that every game brings. Pick 6 is available in Texas, California, Missouri, and more. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KSAC. That's code KSAC. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 is not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited, 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. At Bennett's, it's all about bold flavors and fresh handcrafted food served with genuine hospitality. Craving prime hand-cut steaks? We've got them. Fresh salmon, halibut, or giant Mexican prawns? We've got those too. At Bennett's, we serve premium seafood and steaks in a relaxed setting. Whether you're joining us for a special night out or a casual bite, we'll treat you like family every time. Find us in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. View our menus and make a reservation at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Homeowners, the 30% federal tax credit for solar and green energy ends December 31st. Let me say that again. The 30% federal tax credit for solar and green energy ends December 31st. If you've been procrastinating about your home's solar addition, stop. Call locally owned Gabrud Services and schedule your solar appointment today. Gabrud's is the recognized Northern California specialist for everything electrical, panel replacements, whole house fans, generators, and especially residential solar installation. Gabrud's experts do it all, and they do it right the first time. The 30% federal tax credit ends soon. Stop procrastinating. Call Gabrud's and schedule your appointment for solar now. Family owned and operated for 30 years. Visit Gabrud's.com. Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Fox Sports Sacramento is proud to support Runnin' for Rhett's annual Farm to Fort fundraiser at Sutter Sport. This event benefits Runnin' for Rhett's youth fitness program. 100% of the proceeds raised help thousands of children each year get the opportunity to participate in living healthier lives through better fitness and nutrition. 2025's Farm to Fort is sold out, but you can still help support Rhett's dream to inspire, uplift, and encourage all to take the first step and move into life. Please visit runninforrhett.org and learn more. That's runninforrhett.org.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868. (916) 779-0929. If I may, just for a moment, after listening to the PSA and the Running for Rhett, which has really been unbelievable, and just to give you a little background information, I was in the hospital room when Rhett was a day old, because at the time, Randy, the father of Rhett, was my brother-in-law. And Randy and Beth have done an absolutely incredible job in Rhett's memory. And this running for Rhett has turned in such a great event for such a great cause. And I heard the promo for the first time today as I'm sitting here during the commercial breaks, and it just brought back a lot of memories. But it just goes to show you how you can take such a difficult situation for their family. And I believe Rhett was 7 when they lost him, and the love and care that they had for Rhett, and how they turned that into a phenomenal charity with a phenomenal event. They have really done yeoman's work for the memory of Rhett. It's a great job. I didn't know that this was going to be on the station. I heard it, and I'm just like, wow. Wow. It was just like, wow. And so as somebody that grew up with a sibling that has various health issues from brain damage being born. I've talked a lot about this in my own personal life with my sister, and I went through a lot of experiences as a child being with a handicapped, disabled person with a multitude of problems. I'll never forget this story, and I've shared it with Randy and Beth, so I don't think they would mind. But after being after being such a joyous occasion, I'll never forget getting into the car with my wife, and I said to her, I go, Rhett doesn't look right to me. She goes, what do you mean? I go, it just doesn't look right. And it brought back memories of my sister at a very early age. And it wasn't really for quite a while until Rhett's issues were diagnosed and that it became a reality for parents. And I would say this for anyone that is going through a similar situation. Parents are very often the last to know because they have the eternal hope and it's their child and nothing could be wrong. And so a lot of times parents are the last ones to really understand the magnitude of a disability, a handicap, whatever you want to say. But I just wanted to take a moment because I heard the promo for the first time today and it was like, wow. But I just want to say congratulations to Randy and Beth and what they've done for Running for Rhett. It's turned into a great event for a phenomenal cause, and they deserve a pat on the back. All right. If you want to get in on the program today, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. The Kings with a opening night in Phoenix and then home Friday against Utah. We'll talk about the Utah Jazz on Friday leading up to the home opener. And I would hope that we are talking about a win tonight because that would be beautiful if you could get off to a good start because the schedule gets really, really difficult after this weekend. And you know you don't have Sabonis tonight. You don't have him Friday. And I would guess, and again, only a guess, that they will not have him Sunday against the Lakers. But that's only a guess because he's been officially ruled out for tonight and tomorrow, but not yet on Sunday. But I got to believe that he's not playing. And then hopefully for the road trip, which begins in Oklahoma City. So we've got all of that to talk about. Again, the Kings tonight in Phoenix. And make sure you join us right after the game on YouTube. If you don't like that, Rhino, Jerry Reynolds, join me on my YouTube channel. If you don't like that, right after the game, and we will have your phone calls, your comments. We'll break down the game. That's immediately following a contest over on YouTube, the first of 82 post-game shows. 916-779-0929 from the 530. I read your text message. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. I appreciate that. And thanks so much for taking the time to write the message. All right, let's get to Chris calling here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Grant. How you doing, sir?
Good, Chris. How are you?
Great. I just wanted to tell you thank you for the words that you just shared. You know, my daughter was actually given a 10% chance of survival, and she's doing amazing. She's 7 now, and she's doing great. I really appreciate what you said. But
thank you. I love that. That's
on.
great news. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely. First thing first is I just absolutely love the yellow uniforms, so what an embarrassment. I know we picked the Chargers to beat the Colts, but that was probably one of the worst games I've ever seen. Secondly, you know, I know Joe Alt is a big deal coming back, and I really think that he's going to actually give Justin a little bit more time to throw. I think we're just going to completely devastate the Vikings tomorrow. I just wanted to see what you thought. And we're wearing the throwback navies that LaDainian wears, you know, back in the day.
The throwback jerseys. All right. Well, first of all, Joe Alt is such a key. Any left tackle is such a key for a right-handed quarterback. So I think that is going to be large. Listen, the Chargers, to me, beginning in the Giants game, when he went out, have not been the same team. They haven't looked the same. They haven't been offensively the same. And I think having him back is absolutely huge. I'm not sold on the Vikings right now. And I think that the Chargers on a short week, I think this is a real problem for Minnesota in this game. And I'm not saying the Chargers are going to, you know, like you think they're going to annihilate them. I don't think they're going to annihilate them. But I'd be surprised if the Chargers do not win this game tomorrow. That would surprise me.
All right, Grant. Thanks again for everything, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the call. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Rhino, I talked about Keon Ellis, and I talked about the question mark, how many minutes for him? And I think that's one of the real unknowns because we talk about Schroeder, Levine, we talk about Malik Monk, right? How many minutes will Keon play? Because I think the more that he's on the floor, I think the better you are.
Yeah, and you've got to give him some runway. All of the stats show that. I mean, you see it. You saw it in L.A. in the Kings' last preseason game. This, to me, feels like a Keon Ellis game. This is a game where he can get on Devin Booker. He can be pesky. He can be a little bit more physical because he has the ability to recover, unlike some of the other guys on the team. I just think at least tonight, 20 minutes in, if you go small, I think Keon's the guy that moves into the starting lineup.
Yeah, I don't think Keon is going to start, but I think if they do go small, I'm going to say Nick Clifford goes into the starting lineup just based on the preseason. But I'm with you on Ellis, and I think he can make life challenging for Booker. They'll be running a lot of screens to get Devin open, and there will be a lot of bumping out there on the floor. And I think it will be very interesting to see how the game is called. But I'm with you on that. I think that Keon could have a very pivotal role in the game tonight because he does the one thing on that team that other than Devin Carter, nobody else can do without Keegan Murray in the lineup. There's nobody else that can do what he does.
No, and there's no obligation to get him going in the offense. Certainly if he's left open, he's shown that he can hit that shot, and his defense is not affected by his offense. So I think it's low risk there. The only thing you have to worry about is sometimes Keon occasionally will press a little bit. If Keon lets the game come to him offensively, good things usually happen.
I am really hoping for a good start tonight because we've seen the Kings in first quarters. You're just like, what on earth happened? So let's hope that Dennis Schroeder, and again, he's not on the injury report, so that's good news. He's been limited in practice the last couple of days. So let's see how this all unfolds. And the assist to turnover ratio. Rhino, there are two categories that always jump out at us when we're doing the postgame show over on YouTube.
Yeah.
Assist to turnover ratio and 3-point shooting, both for and against. Those are the two numbers, but assist to turnover always seems to dictate whether the Kings win or lose.
Well, Grant, I don't even think, and you're spot on, that the Kings were close to 30 assists at any time during the preseason, and that was the number we set. Last year, we said if you get to 30 assists, usually this basketball team will win. The other number is free throws. This team has to be able to get to the line. You can't have quarters where you're only shooting one free throw. That means they are off balance. So Phoenix, Grant, in the preseason only shot the three ball at 32.5%. So if they come out shooting it well from three, you know it's going to be a long night.
There's another interesting game in the West tonight that I'm going to really be keeping an eye on. And that's the Timberwolves and the Trailblazers from Portland. Minnesota's projected to be a top 4 team pretty much by everybody. I think the Blazers are going to be a little bit better than everyone else. I actually think they're going to finish ahead of Sacramento. I want to get a glimpse of Portland tonight. I just want to get kind of a feel because I don't know if my acceleration of them is warranted. And by acceleration, I mean like their growth. I wonder if I'm putting them maybe too quickly on the growth chart, but I think they have a potential for a pretty decent season.
I think a lot of it depends on how Chauncey Billups manages the size with Young Hansen, Donovan Clingan, because they are the biggest team in the NBA. They've got 7 or 8 guys that are over 6'8". So can you manage that, still play with a little bit of pace? I expect them to be and if they are a high IQ team, I think that's going to even be better because I think they're going to be a team that moves the ball a lot because you have big men that can pass.
And it's a good thing the Kings are playing Phoenix tonight. Not that I'm discrediting them instead of Portland, because if they were playing Portland tonight without Murray, without Sabonis, and without Jones, I would say, this could be a long night. We always talk about matchups. Like, I think the game Friday for the Kings is a more challenging matchup than the game tonight.
Certainly. And it's a game that you're probably going to have to play a little bit more zone defense. This is a game tonight that you hope the Kings do not need to get into the zone defense. If the Kings are getting into the zone defense tonight, then that means Phoenix shooting the leather off the basketball.
So starting lineups will be announced in a little more than an hour, and it will be very interesting to see who that 5th starter is for Sacramento. Will it be going small with Nick Clifford? I'm going to lean that way. Ryan's leaning towards Keon Ellis if they go small. If not, Dario Saric. Who will be the starting 5 for the Sacramento Kings tonight? And as I've said, I don't want to, speak out of both sides of my mouth. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, that's why you have a bench. You make changes, and Doug will have to mix and match as he sees fit. The more important question is, if the game is close with 5 minutes left, who will the roster be on the floor during that part of the game? That's going to be what the key is, the 5 that will be on the floor at the end of game. And you and me, we have a little bit of a difference of an opinion. You don't think Schroeder will be on the floor at the end of close games. I do.
Yeah, I don't think more times than not, I think he will not be on the floor.
Okay. And your reason for that is?
I think other guys will have it going, and I think Neek will be a part of that group more times than not, as long as he's not in foul trouble. And he can handle the ball well. He can screen well. He's physical at his size. Unless we see a Dennis Schroeder that was completely different and even a level turned up from what we saw in LA, I just don't have a good feeling about it yet.
Understand that Neek tonight is going to see a defense that he has not seen before because they have him now on tape and they've broken down his game. And there is a game plan for him on a scouting report tonight. So that is part of the growth of a young player. The Phoenix Suns now have dissected, just like the Kings have done so with Phoenix, what players do well, what they don't do well. And all players, particularly younger players, do have a weakness. And it will be interesting to see how Phoenix goes in terms of defending Clifford. Don't just discount that in his first game in the NBA.
What do you think that scout looks like?
I don't know the particulars of what the scouting report looks like, but there are things that they want him to do based on what they have evaluated as a scouting department in the preseason, meaning that they want to take away his strengths and focus on what they think they can exploit, because all players, particularly young, have areas that can be exploited. We're going to find out. I think you're going to see. I think you're going to notice that. And again, I don't want to put too much on the Summer League, but he didn't play particularly well in the 2 games at the end of Summer League where they did have more video. And I thought that in the final game, they really did defend him somewhat differently. But again, this is another big stage. It is his first game. I'm not going to put too much on whether he plays well or doesn't play well tonight, because I think he's going to have a tremendous career. But I think if the Kings are to win the game tonight, it's going to be he's going to be a player that has to play well, because I just think without 3 guys, and particularly 2 starters, you're going to need everyone else to play well in this game tonight.
So if I'm drawing up the scout for Neek just off the top of my head tonight in Phoenix, I think Coach Ott is going to want to make him shoot the 3 ball. I think you want to force him to shoot the 3. If he's going to be doing the pick and roll, you want to have somebody double and flash out to take away that initial vision, which we've all seen and Coach Christie's talked about reading through the progressions. But the interesting thing about wanting him to shoot 3 is you can't give him too much space to drive because he's attacked the rim violently in the preseason.
Yeah. Well, it's all going to be on display here in 2 hours. And I'm looking forward to having one of 82 postgame shows with Rhino. Jerry Reynolds joins us as well. That's over on our YouTube channel if you don't like that, with Grant Napear, and, of course, also on X. Don't forget, I got Grant's Rant coming up in a couple of minutes. Yeah, a Grant's Rant for a Wednesday on opening night for the Sacramento Kings. A lot of games going on in the association tonight, including the Knicks and the Cavaliers from the Garden. It's 44-38, a big game in the East to start the season. The Magic were down by double digits early. They now lead over the Heat. Those are a couple of the early scores from the NBA. Grant's Rant, your phone calls, 916-779-0929. Use that to call the show, text the show. Expectations, numbers, I want them. What do you think for the Kings? We'll continue that after Grant's Rant right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take another look at the roadways, working a couple of new problems. I-80 eastbound at Madison Avenue. We got that earlier collision in North Sacramento, still slowing things down. State Route 99 right on the approach to Florin Road. Got that earlier problem, still trying to be wrapped up by officials at this hour. And you're still dealing with some heavy rush hour delays, especially Cap City Freeway and I-5 northbound, southbound. Give yourself that extra time. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouthwatering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco, serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit HQNightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
Dead cap hit just to move on. That's painful. But give Wilson credit. He never made it messy. He stayed composed, said the right things, kept it professional. That's why yesterday's public response turned heads after reports surfaced that Sean Payton wanted to face Wilson last weekend rather than rookie Jackson Dart because he thought it would make it easier on Denver. Say what you want about Wilson's play, but he's always handled himself with class. This, though, feels out of character, and maybe that's the point. Maybe now we're seeing just how fractured that Denver relationship really was. Because when the full story eventually comes out, something says the $85 million breakup might not even be the juiciest part. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
When it comes to great meat, quality, freshness, and care make all the difference. That's the Heartland difference. At Heartland Steak Co., you're getting premium Midwestern meats, hand-cut, hand-picked, and delivered straight to your door. From juicy USDA prime and choice beef to all-natural pork and tender chicken, Heartland Steak Co. brings that true Midwest flavor right to your table. Perfect for backyard barbecues, weeknight dinners, or sending gifts of great taste, they've got you covered. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteakco.com. Choose from grill master packages, freezer filler bundles, or holiday gift boxes. Everything's flash frozen at peak freshness, so it's ready when you are. And here's the deal. When you spend $199.99 or more, you'll get free shipping and $25 off your order with promo code SAVE25. That's heartlandsteakco.com, your one-stop shop for premium Midwest meats delivered straight to your door. Taste the Heartland difference. Visit heartlandsteakco.com and use code SAVE25 today.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for
Grant's Rant for a Wednesday opening night. Kings. Ryan, what do you have for me?
All right, buddy, 3 options. So since you were such a good friend yesterday and gently nudged me to maybe look at the news once in a while, I took you up on that. And according to the Sacramento Bee, a teacher has admitted to giving her students hammers and crowbars to help her remove carpet in the classroom, thus causing $22,000 of damage. That's a juicy one. Here's your second.
Whoa. I need to stop you right there. Why would they remove the carpet in the classroom?
I don't know. I did not read the article. My guess is it was something over the summer, renovations, because they're now reporting it now. Might have been towards the end of last year. Who knows? So, yeah, that's your first option. Your second option, there's 3 different angles here. Kevin Durant last night calling timeout with no timeouts left for the Rockets. No deal, big deal, or did the refs mess up? So I'm going to let you play with that. And then the third, I want to get this out in advance of Halloween, since we have that coming up. Adults who trick or treat. That needs to be addressed.
Yeah, you know what? Adults who trick or treat, it's like you have a problem with adults that wear game jerseys, right? Like you have a problem with that. I don't have as big of a problem with that, but I understand where you're coming from. I have a problem with adults that bring their baseball glove to a ball game unless they're with a young one that's doing the same thing. And it's kind of like, in the family, oh yeah, my son or my daughter's bringing a glove, so I'll join them in the fun. If you are an adult and you're going to the game and you're not with a young one and you're bringing your glove, I mean, really? Seriously? And I can go on and on with this stuff. There are certain things that absolutely I don't understand. Ryan's got a problem, like if you are walking around as an adult in an NFL jersey. I don't have a problem with the sweatshirts. I don't have a problem with the polo shirts, the T-shirts. I'm with you. It does look a little odd. I get that. Rhino, I'm going to have you help me with this rant, okay? So you just gave me one, but I want to get your take because I'm going to go off on this. Of what you suggested and what I suggested, what's your biggest gripe? What's the one thing that really just gnaws at you?
Probably the jerseys. The jerseys, unless you're with a little one, your son, and it's matching jerseys. I can't stand the jerseys because half the time the tags are still on them. It just bugs me.
Okay, so that's number one. What's number 2 of the 3? The one that you gave me and what's number 2 for you?
Trick-or-treating, for sure.
So, all right, there we go. All right, so I have never really understood this. As a matter of fact, like my mom was like very unique on Halloween. She used to get these chocolate wafer cookies and put orange icing on them with M&Ms as the eyes, right? A candy corn as the nose and a little piece of red licorice as the mouth. And they were a huge hit in the neighborhood. Every year, kids would come up, oh, do you have those cookies again? Yeah, we do. That's what we did for trick or treat. And then I remember adults coming up. I remember as a kid, right? After I was done trick-or-treating and the doorbell would ring and I would see adults. And I remember even as a kid, I'm looking around for the kids. Like, where are the kids? What is the deal with that? If you are an adult, you are not supposed to be trick-or-treating. It is not for you. Halloween is not for adults. It's for kids. Now, if you want to go to a Halloween party and it's a costume party, that's fine. That's different. But if you are ringing someone's doorbell, if you're knocking on the door to go trick-or-treating, and not even adult, like seriously, like if you're 16, 17, 18, grow up, would you please? Like really, you're trying to get a little piece of candy? Go to the freaking 7-Eleven. Go to the store. You're trick-or-treating? I mean, seriously? Like, I don't understand that. And we're getting ready for Halloween soon. And I know a lot of people love Halloween and they can't wait to get their outfits and their costumes. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Go to your Halloween party. Have a fun time. But if you're actually walking into someone's neighborhood and you're ringing doorbells and you're an adult and you got your little bag, right? Trick or treat, go away. Get a freaking life, would you please? It's not for you. It's for the kids. And personally, I would say, no. Trick or treat, nah, not happening here. Go somewhere else. It's for the kids. It's not for the adults. I mean, seriously, grow up, would you please? I'm okay with the jerseys. Rhino's not. It doesn't drive me crazy. I wouldn't do it personally, but it's not for me. But the trick or treating, seriously? I mean, isn't this for little kids, little boys and little girls? And, you know, if their parents are with them because of safety, and things are a lot different now, right? I mean, things are a little bit different than when I was going trick-or-treating, 55 years ago, okay? I would say it's a lot different. So I get the fact that there are parents around the kids, but they're not dressed, okay, in their Halloween costumes and saying, can I have a piece of candy too? No, that's not happening. Go away, would you please? So thank you for that, Ryan. If you are an adult and you're planning on go trick-or-treating, look in the mirror and freaking grow up. And that's my rant for today.
Now, there are a couple of nuances. There are families that will see you with your kids and force some candy on you. Dad, you got to get one. But then if you're taking the kids, there's always the dad tax, Grant. It's one candy every 5 to 6 houses.
What's your go-to candy?
Oh, man, if you're going to cut it to one, Reese's. How about you?
No, definitely not Reese's. I don't really have a go-to candy. I love chocolate, but I don't like chocolate and peanut butter together as much. Like it's not, I don't ever buy it.
Okay.
So I would say not that. The cookies that my mom made were absolutely unbelievable.
They sound
I mean,
great.
every year, I mean, they were phenomenal. And you wrap them in, the little wrap, and the kids love them. I mean, the neighborhood loved them. But in terms of going to a store and buying a certain candy, I'd have to really think about that, because there's nothing that just jumps out at me. There's nothing like, oh, I've got to have that. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. I loved Almond Joys. I love Mounds, right? I love those type of candies, but M&Ms, doesn't everybody love M&Ms? Is there anybody out there that doesn't?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so what's the candy that you run away from?
That I run away from? The Sour Patch stuff, like that type of stuff. Like I don't, that doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I know. Very
Yeah,
popular.
that's not my thing. So I got a funny story for you. Speaking of candy, DeMarcus Cousins comes into the studio as a rookie, right?
Yeah.
And so he's going to do an hour with me in studio. And so it's me, DeMarcus, and his manager in the studio, and I'm interviewing him, and he's got the plastic bag of Sour Patches in his hand. And DeMarcus, who's gotten much, much better with doing interviews, you couldn't really understand a lot of what he was saying back then because he mumbled a lot. And I actually, believe it or not, helped him with that. Yes, I did help DeMarcus do interviews. But anyway, I'm interviewing him, and he is literally eating his candy But if you take a microphone, and I don't have a piece of plastic with me right now, so I can't do it. If you take a plastic bag and you are like taking, whether it's pretzels or whatever, and you are getting something out of the bag, it makes a noise, which over the microphone is the equivalent of like
Needles
a
on it.
campfire.
Oh.
Okay. So the noise is like fire. All right. With it, it's very annoying. And so during the first break, I said to Marcus, I go, listen, put the bag down. All right. Because it's coming over the microphone and no one can understand what you're saying. And you can't do an interview with candy in your mouth. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah. I go, listen, you can have your candy during the commercial break. I felt like I was talking to my, kid that was 5 years old. I'm like, you can have your candy during the break, but once we start, okay, you can't have the bag in your hand. You need to put it down. Like, I'm not kidding you. It was unbelievable.
Those are big hands too. That bag's
Yeah, well,
moving around.
but he kept on, but because they were big hands, it was hard for him to get one piece of candy out. So the entire bag is like the noise of the bag. I was like, oh my God. So I actually did help him several times. I remember in Oklahoma City after he'd been suspended for a couple of games for punching out Dante Green. I had to interview him about being back, and we recorded it, and there was nobody around. And I'm like, DeMarcus, I go, we got to do that again. He goes, why? I go, you need to raise your voice. And by that, I mean, make believe you're talking to somebody standing 10 feet behind me. I go, what you just said did not come across well. I go, you want people to believe you, right? You want people to think that your apology is sincere. I go, that's not going to do it. I said, look into the camera and make believe that you're not speaking to me, but you're speaking to someone that's 10 feet behind me. So we did it again. And he said, how was that? I go, perfect. I go, that's going to come across much better. That's much better. So believe it or not, I tried to help the guy as much as I could until he just, became to a menace, which was like, oh, whatever, go away.
And see, that's what we're trying to do with adults who trick or treat. We're trying to help them out before they become menaces. And adults that put masks on, don't think that we don't see through that. Kids usually aren't 6 feet tall. We can catch that too. So
yeah,
just saying.
But I'll never forget being in the studio and him having his Sour Patch and the ridiculous noise and the fact that he was eating his candy as I was trying to interview him.
To me, that would be like chalk on or nails on a chalkboard. That's just, oof, I would not be able to do that.
Yeah, again, I don't have a plastic bag with me, or else I would simulate it so you would know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's not a good noise for radio. It's not a good noise. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Again, if you want to get in on the program, you see, you never know where this show is going to go, right? All of a sudden we're talking sports, and then the next thing we're doing trick-or-treating, right? So, all right, how old were you when you stopped trick-or-treating? What was the last year that you remember doing it?
Probably sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, I would say for me, right around 9th or 10th grade. And the reason is we all wanted candy, right?
Yes.
So I would say 9th or 10th grade. We used to trick or treat always for UNICEF. And I don't know what they do now, but in grade school and in junior high school, they used to hand us the orange cartons. And it was standard to say trick or treat for UNICEF. And you would get a couple of pennies. And I remember my dad.
Oh, wow.
My dad would always say, we'll match whatever you guys get. And my brother, believe it or not, as he got a little bit older, when he went trick-or-treating, he didn't get candy. He only walked up to the door with his UNICEF cardboard box. And he actually was able to raise a lot of money. And then my dad matched it. And then you would bring it to school the next day. Okay. And it was like a big deal. So, of course, I got wise guys that are my friends, and they wanted to know if we're going trick-or-treating on Halloween night with me. And I'm like, no, we're not going trick-or-treating on Halloween night. So like here I am, I'm doing a rant, and now I got my phone blowing up with my idiot friends asking me where we're going trick-or-treating on Halloween night. Isn't that the way life works? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right.
No doubt about it.
So when I just said that, trick-or-treat for UNICEF, that's something that you've never heard of before?
I've never heard of that. No.
Yeah, that was a big deal when I was growing up. Almost every kid that would come to the door or you would see out trick-or-treating had their little orange cardboard box for UNICEF. It was standard. It was a big deal. And again, my parents, my dad said, we will match whatever you get. And so it taught us at an early age to be charitable. And it taught us at an early age that, hey, you know what? There's more to life than just getting candy. And this is a big deal. And they explained to us what the money was going for. And UNICEF has been a phenomenal charitable foundation for years and years and years. And so we learned about giving, not just receiving. And it was a really nice lesson.
I love that.
On Halloween. Yeah.
The difference in trust back then, right?
Well, yes, absolutely. No question. And that's, I mean, everything's so different now. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't know how much of that money would end up in UNICEF right now if people were trick-or-treating for UNICEF.
Or if anybody would eat the cookies your mom made.
Well, and that's very true. Now people are, if it's not in an enclosed wrapper and it's sealed, yeah. So, yeah, it's a different time. That's for sure. But I'm thinking I probably stopped right around 9th grade. My brother actually did it throughout high school, but he would only go out for UNICEF. So he was doing it for a really good, reason and was raising money for, a phenomenal charity and a really great cause.
Yeah.
But,
before I get a text from the old man, want to be accurate here. I do have a brother that's 11 years younger than me. So I know I took him out, but I did not collect candy.
That's okay.
That's okay, right?
That's fine. Yeah. And I remember walking up to a neighbor's house with my 2 kids, and they were probably 3 and 5, at the most 4 and 6. So we're talking very young. And I'll never forget his name. His name was Garth. And Garth walks up to the door with his wife, and he starts crying. And I'm like, Garth, are you okay? No, I'm not exaggerating.
He's
and he
crying.
said, yeah, he goes, your 2 boys remind me of my 2 boys. And he looked at me and he said, this is going to go really fast. Enjoy these moments because these moments are going to be gone before you know it. Like, isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
Like that was 23 to 25 years ago. And I remember standing there with my boys and Garth. And I remember him telling me that. And to this day, it is stuck with me because when you hear that, you're like, oh, geez, I want him to grow up. I want him to get the heck out of here because it's a lot of work. Okay.
Yes.
But then you realize, wow, those moments were so unbelievably special. And then you wake up one day and they're out of the house and they're off to college and they've got their own lives. It really does go that quickly. And I'll never forget that.
I'm kind of smack in the middle of that right now with an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
It's like, where did we go already? And now it's moving the other direction.
It goes
quicker and
fast.
quicker.
It really goes fast. You're going to wake up one day and they're going to be done with high school and you're going to be sending them off and you're just like, wow. But I always tell parents when I see them with their young children, I tell them the same thing. I go, enjoy these moments. I go, enjoy this. I said, because it's going to be over before you know it. And I just remember Garth telling me that. But I remember he had tears coming down his face, and I thought something bad had happened. I'm like, Garth, are you okay? I was just like, wow. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, hold on. I got to ask you this now that we're on to this topic. We'll wrap up the segment. But once you become an empty nester, is it really that big of a deal change for you when the boys were off?
For me, the answer was no, because my occupation was such that I was gone a lot anyway. Like I'm doing 82 games, 41 on the road. I'm doing arena football and I'm traveling a lot. So for me, not as much. But yeah, it's a big deal when you go from a noisy house to a quiet house and the kids are no longer there. Yeah, it's quite an adjustment. Yes.
Because as a kid, when your parents end up in that position, you don't know if it's like the celebration from Ace Ventura when the monks all go crazy when he leaves. Because like for me, when I came home, it was no more than 2 months later and my bedroom was turned into an office.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why does a pilot need an office? That doesn't make sense. A cockpit is your office.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I don't know how you are, but for me, the other big part of that whole process is when you can leave the house for an hour or two and know that you can leave your kids there because they're now at a certain age where they're more responsible and you don't have to worry about the house burning down or you're being, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but so that's also a milestone
True
too.
that.
All right, we'll come back. We're going to get back on opening night. I want your opening night memories, your expectations for the Kings tonight. Neek Clifford, let's give a plus minus for Neek tonight at 25. Are you going under 25 minutes or over 25 minutes? I'm going to go just a tad over with just maybe 25 and change, 26, 27. I'll take the over. Rhino, when we come back, you can tell me whether you're going over or under. That's next on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take another look at the roadways. We got a couple of problems out there you need to be aware of. An accident on US 50 eastbound right at the 99 interchange. That's off to the right shoulder, causing some major slowdowns on both interchanges. So give yourself that extra time to work your way through there. Southbound 99 right at Arno Road. That earlier accident off to the left shoulder as well. Definitely give yourself that extra time to work your way through there. I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Decisions determine results. So which path do I want to take? Help people in need or stand on the sidelines watching? Worry about how to pay for school or have my education paid for? Push myself and learn new skills or stay the same? My decision is to serve part-time with the Army National Guard, and my results will be life-changing. What will you decide? Go to NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Aired by the California Broadcasters.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868. Appreciate all the messages. Glad that we are making somebody laugh out there. All right, over under, Rhino, 25 minutes for Neek Clifford tonight.
You set the line really well. I am going to go, while I want to say I'm okay with over 25, I'm going to go a tad under, just because I think he might get a little handsy, a little excited, and Doug might have to sit him down a little bit in the second quarter.
The 40th anniversary for the Sacramento Kings tonight when they take on the Phoenix Suns. And over the last couple of days, I've had some players on that began in Sacramento back in 1985. Reggie Theus was on Friday, Joe Klein yesterday. And then I was doing a show on YouTube, which we'll be doing after the game tonight with Rhino and Jerry Reynolds. And somebody said, what about the top 40 players for the 40th anniversary? And I said, well, I'd have to really work on that. And that would require a lot of time because that is, a long time. And the problem with that is the year 1985. Well, there are a lot of people that are listening to this show that weren't born yet or were too young to remember anything about that era. and may not even know the names of the players that played back then. You may not have known who Joe Klein was or Reggie Theus. I mean, if you're in your 20s or you're in your early 30s, unless you're somebody that really studies the history of a franchise, like I'm a diehard New York Giants fan. I'm a diehard New York Yankees fan. If you ask me to talk about the Giants, in the 50s, I wouldn't be able to really tell you that much about the Giants in the 50s other than what is considered the greatest football game ever played with the Giants and the Colts and Alan Amici running it in for the winning score in the Colts-Giants championship game. But I wouldn't be able to tell you a lot about the New York Giants in the 50s. So if you were not around in the 80s, if you weren't alive yet, or you were an infant or a toddler, and you may not even be able to give me any names from those teams. And the reason why I bring that up is there were several players in the 80s that without exception would be on the top 40 Kings players of all time. Several players, not just one or two, several. All right, let's get to some phone calls right here. In a moment, we will get to Al and some others. If you want to text the show, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. And we say hello to Al in Citrus Heights. Hello, Al.
Hey, Grant. Hey, you stopped trick-or-treating?
Yeah, can you believe that?
I'm joking, man. I wanted to still go, but my dad said, "No, okay, you're 30 years old. Forget it. You're not going out." But
I think you had your run. Yeah.
I love your interviews with the old-time players like Olden Polynice and Joe Klein. Oh my God, I'm thinking to myself, you're saying, hey, he's in the delivery. Even the younger fans, I think they have to would still enjoy those stories because of the history of I like I've heard I know their teams even before I even knew they existed, but having the history of the team and those players talking about the atmosphere. I love your interviews with the old time players, and I hope you can keep it going.
Oh, I'd love to. I still have a big connection with a lot of the former players, and for me to have Reggie Theus on and talk about what it was like from his perspective, and Joe Klein, the first ever draft pick, and I was in the not the delivery room. I was in Dana's hospital room the day after their firstborn arrived because I had to go do a story for Channel 31 because Joe had just been traded, and it was a big deal. And I remember being in their hospital room, and I'll never forget. Again, I know that the players are well paid, and I know they have a good life, but boy, when you get a phone call and your wife has just had their firstborn, or she hasn't even delivered the baby yet, and then you are gone the next day, or you have to be at the next city within 48 hours, and you don't see your wife or your newborn for 5 weeks, that's not easy to deal with.
They're players, but they're human beings, and they have lives. It's not just their sports, their profession, but that's absolutely. I was astounding, but I had to laugh though, Nip. I got to tell you, and I know Joe didn't want to leave, and it was not a good timing. But going from the Kings at that point to the Celtics, I'm thinking that's not good news, bad news. That's great news, amazing news. I know he wouldn't want to. He didn't want to get traded, but. He went to a pretty good spot. But I just had a quick question. I'm excited for the Kings fan, diehard Kings fans. I have a question technically as far as when a team's lacking in on ball defenders, skills and stuff. They've lost Keegan, and do they go to more of a zone? Is that something that you could use if
it's very difficult
don't
to play
have
a
the
zone? It's very difficult to play a zone in the NBA for prolonged periods of time. It just is. The NBA players are too good, especially if you can get the ball inside. It's very easy to break down a zone. Right. If you have really good three-point shooters, a lot of times you get burned on that. It just depends on who you're playing, and you can't. You got to pick your spots for it.
Okay, I was just wondering because I know I'm not a diehard. I don't know all the NBA processes. I know football, but I was thinking maybe they could compensate at some point during the game. But thanks for taking my call, and
Thank you.
Excited for the season to start. You guys are just going to do the post game. You're not gonna do pre-game and halftime.
No,
just
well, we
post-game,
can't do
right?
We can't do the pregame for a lot of the games because we're on the radio. But we're going to be doing all 82 postgame shows.
All right. It's exciting for you guys. I'm so excited, and I'm feeling positive. I like Damar's comments with, "Hey, we'll show them." So I'm gonna.
I don't care about
look forward
comments.
to it.
I'm about show me, don't tell me. I'm not a tell me
that's
guy.
right.
I'm a show me guy.
Walk the walk. That's right, man.
I'm a
That's
show me.
East
Don't
Coast
tell me.
thinking.
Show me.
That's an East Coast thinking right there. You take
Thank
care,
you, buddy. Appreciate
talk to you
that.
later.
The other part of that deal is when the Kings traded Joe Klein to Boston, they also traded Ed Pinckney along with him. And they got back Danny Ainge and Brad Lohaus in that deal. And I was at practice when Jerry Reynolds walked up to Ed Pinckney. And Ed was sitting on the first row of seats at Arco across from the bench. And the trade had just happened. And Jerry walked up to Ed, and Ed was really distraught and very sad. He loved being in Sacramento, and here he was being traded to Boston. And you would think that would have been like great news for him, and he would have loved it. Big Villanova star. I mean, when you think of Ed Pinckney, just Google Ed Pinckney at Villanova, one of the great performances in the history of the NCAA tournament. And when Ed was traded to Boston, and Jerry will tell this story a lot better than me, but he told Ed, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you in your career. And you know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to Ed in his career. And Ed's a great guy. What a phenomenal person, and has gone on and been very good in coaching. And I'm really happy for him. But that was a huge deal. And I'll never forget the reaction from Ed when he was told that he was being traded. And I was there and I watched it all unfold. And it was like, wow. Yeah. That was a wow moment. And, being around Danny Ainge to this day is one of the great experiences that I have ever had, being around an athlete of his caliber. And I took Danny Ainge to his first ever NFL game, Monday night game, Giants 49ers, Candlestick Park, field passes. And Danny was a 49ers fan. And I remember being in the car with him. I drove to the game right after Kings practice, Monday Night Football. And I remember the conversation that I had with him about a variety of topics. And I really got to know Danny on a different level during that drive. But he was like, we're going to be on the 49er sideline. And I go, what are you kidding me? What are you, out of your freaking mind? We're not going on the 49er sideline. You know better than that. We're going on the Giants sideline. We're not going anywhere near there. He started laughing. He goes, okay. But anyway, back to Ed Pinckney. He was at Villanova from 91 to 85. And the job that he did in 1985 as the MVP, and the job that he did was one of the great, and I'm going to say this, one of the great performances in the history of college basketball. They win the title. They beat Patrick Ewing in Georgetown, and Ed Pinckney was unbelievable, incredible. Well, think about it. He was the tournament's most outstanding player and a great guy to go along with it. But he was part of that deal. A lot of people forget that. He was part of that deal. And really a phenomenal person. Phenomenal person, Ed Pinckney. So when I think about that deal, Joe Klein getting told, literally, had to go to the phone while his wife is in labor. In labor. At the same hospital that both of my boys were born at. Joe is in the hospital, in the delivery room. His wife is in labor. And the nurse comes in and tells him about the phone call. And he actually gets on the phone with Jerry. And he told the story yesterday. I mean, how amazing is that? And, we'll talk about it with Jerry later tonight over on YouTube to get his thoughts on how difficult of a phone call that was, because Jerry knew where Joe was. He wasn't at practice. He was in the hospital with his wife. And that could not have been a pleasant phone call for Jerry Reynolds to be telling somebody, at the hospital. But Jerry was also a very stand-up guy. He wanted Joe to hear it from him and not someone else. But that was not an easy phone call to make. And Joe, 48 hours later, gets on a plane, flies across country, and again did not see his wife or newborn for 5 weeks. But that was a very interesting trade back then. Very interesting. And we have so many great Danny Ainge stories. But if you didn't like Danny Ainge, something was wrong with you. To this day, maybe the fiercest competitor I've ever been around. Jerry would tell you the same thing. We used to play tennis with Danny at his house in Granite Bay. And I remember the first time I played tennis with Danny, and Jerry said, I'm just telling you right now, do not make a mistake on a line call. I go, what are you talking about? He said, do not call a ball out if it's in, and if it's close, just say it's in. I started laughing. I go, you're kidding me, right? He goes, no, I'm not kidding you. Playing Danny in tennis was like being at the finals of the U.S. Open. I'm not kidding you. You would, every point was a big deal to him, which I was just out there playing for fun. And, I'm competitive too, but I'm like, good Lord. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to play. I'm trying to, compete with Danny. And at the same time, I'm like, do not make a mistake on a line call. That was Jerry and the message that he gave to me playing tennis with Danny Ainge. Yeah, great memories back then. Great memories indeed. All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap up the show. If you want to get in on the program, 916-779-0929. You can use that to text the show as well right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take one final look at the roadways. We're still dealing with a couple of issues out there. I-80 eastbound at Northgate Boulevard, 3 left lanes are blocked off there. You got stop-and-go traffic pretty much from El Camino Avenue out to that scene. Give yourself that extra time to work your way through there. Still trying to clean up that earlier accident at US 50 at the 99 interchange. It is still causing slowdowns on US 50 along with 99, so definitely watch out for that as well. With twice-an-hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Downtown Ford of Sacramento is celebrating the fall by getting you equipped for a winter road trip. And if you're headed up 50 or 80 into those gorgeous Sierras, get there safely in a new or certified pre-owned 4x4 from Downtown Ford. Our lot on Howe Avenue is loaded with super clean pre-owned trucks and SUVs ready for the snow. F-150s, Rangers, Explorers, and the super hot Ford Maverick. And if there's a particular type of vehicle you've dreamed of owning someday, Downtown Ford probably has a used version of that same vehicle for a substantially lower price. Downtown Ford backs our pre-owned vehicles with an available 10-year, 100,000-mile extended service contract. We're the oldest Ford dealership in California, and we're super proud of our heritage of providing great American Ford cars and trucks to the people of Sacramento for more than a century. Visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems. And now that the calendar has hit October, you're probably not rushing to grab your sweaters and jackets just yet. But before long, it will get chilly. Will your heater work to your satisfaction? Well, right now at DAS Mechanical, they have a $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup. So take advantage of this early by going to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org. Whether it's for your home or business, with amazing financing options available, including 0% interest for 18 months, this family-owned and operated business since 2018 will take care of your heating and air needs. Take advantage of this $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup now. Go online, dasmechanical.org. You can schedule online, look at their 5-star reviews. That's dasmechanical.org.
Fox Sports Sacramento is proud to support Runnin' for Rhett's annual Farm to Fort fundraiser at Sutter Sport. This event benefits Runnin' for Rhett's youth fitness program. 100% of the proceeds raised help thousands of children each year get the opportunity to participate in living healthier lives through better fitness and nutrition. 2025's Farm to Fort is sold out, but you can still help support Rhett's dream to inspire, uplift, and encourage all to take the first step and move into life. Please visit runninforrhett.org and learn more. That's runninforrhett.org.
This text message, David slew Goliath when Ed led Villanova over Georgetown. Huge upset. Yes, it was. Again, to this day, it's one of the great achievements and one of the great performances with Rolly Massimino and Villanova beating Georgetown. All right, NBA tonight. The Knicks are up 15 on the Cavs. They've just started the second half. Hornets are destroying the Nets. They have put 77 on the board at the break. They lead 77-60. Heat Magic tied at 72 with 7.5 left in the third. Raptors 59, the Hawks 51, 2.5 left in quarter number 2. At the break, the Sixers are in Boston. They lead by 6. The Bulls are really pouring it on at home. First quarter, 40 seconds left. They are leading the Pistons 33-19. Pelicans on top of the Grizzlies 28-24. Zion Williamson has not scored yet with 48 seconds left in the first. And the Bucks lead the Wizards 40-22 with 8 seconds left in the first. A little bit later, Clippers, Jazz, Spurs, Mavericks, and the Timberwolves are in Portland to take on the Trailblazers. All right, your final opportunity to give me your predictions. We've received quite a few of them, particularly on our text line on number of wins for Sacramento. I've got them at 32. Ryan's got them a little bit higher. I just don't like the way the season has begun. I don't like their November schedule without Keegan Murray. And I just think it's going to really create some problems. All right, something else we haven't talked about yet, Rhino. We haven't mentioned Russell Westbrook's name on the show today. So I'm going to give you an over-under of 17. You're going under 17 minutes or over 17 minutes?
Under.
Yeah, me too. I just can't see how he would be ready to play that many minutes tonight. I mean, I don't want to see him playing too many minutes tonight if Keon Ellis is not on the floor. I got to have Keon on the floor in this game.
Yeah, and one of the guys we're not talking a lot about, I know we had a call about Malik Monk coming off the bench, is Malik. I talked to him a couple of days ago, and he's like, don't worry about the 3-ball for me when the season starts. I really haven't shot a lot. I'll be fine. And, what are you putting his minutes at tonight?
Probably 23, 24, right around in there. Because we've gone over this time and time again. Doug is going to keep Zach LaVine on the floor. Zach's playing 35-plus minutes. I'd be surprised if on the postgame show tonight over on YouTube, we're not talking about Zach LaVine playing 35 minutes. I think he's going to be on the floor a lot. I think DeRozan's going to be on the floor a lot. And when you talk about the guards, okay, I mean, Malik Monk, Keon Ellis, not all of them are going to be able to play big minutes. Right. So for that reason, I think that Malik's going to be around 22 minutes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Malik's going to have a really good night tonight. He's historically played really well in openers when he has been available. It's going to be.
And he'll play more than that. And he'll be on the floor at the end of the game if the game's on the line.
Correct. And to your point about Zach, he has looked so comfortable this offseason or this preseason. In fact, he's had the best preseason of any King, hands down. I want to see that comfort translate tonight. I don't want to see Zach forcing things. I hope Doug's drawing up some plays so you can get him involved and get him in the same spaces that he was in.
Well, again, the big question for Sacramento tonight is who will start on the front line. We assume that Eubanks is going to be the 5.
Yes.
And are the Kings going to go small? I think they will. All right. I think that they will. And I'm going to just take a wild shot and say Clifford starts this game. You think if they go small, Keon Ellis starts?
I do. I think it'll be Keon.
All right. Going to be interesting to see how that all works out.
But
the Kings and the Suns.
We both agree if they go big, it's going to be Sharch, right?
Yes, correct. Yep. I don't see, without Isaac Jones, who I think probably would have started had he not been sick, I have a feeling he would have been as a starter. And I could see him starting Friday.
Yes.
Based on the matchups that we're looking at coming up with the Jazz.
Spot on.
Yeah. All right. Again, you have time to get in on the program at 916-779-0929 on the text line. Danny was one of those players that you loved if he was on your team. You were right about that. You didn't love him if he played on another team. You know, when you think about Danny, he had a great bookend of his career in Boston, and then he went from Sacramento to Portland, and he was a big reason for their success with the Blazers, you know, after he left Sacramento. So you think about his career and what he did playing in Boston and then playing for Rick Adelman in Portland before Rick came to Sacramento and their trips to the finals. Danny was a winner, plain and simple. I mean, Danny was going to make your team better, and he led by example, and he never took a play off. He never took a play off. And you want to talk about IQs? His basketball IQ was off the charts. Somebody said great expectations for Zach tonight, minutes and points. Well, we just talked about him. Yeah, we both have really good expectations for Zach. I think 35 minutes. I think he's going to score 30 points tonight because I just think he's in one of those rhythms. Yeah, he does have to. Yeah. Yep. If we're talking on the post-game show tonight and Levine and DeRozan don't have a minimum of 50 points combined, the Kings lose this game. That's how I look at it.
If we're talking on the post game tonight and Dennis Schroeder has shot more than 6 threes and has less than 6 assists, the Kings will lose as well.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Again, post game show right after the game on YouTube and on X. Jerry will join us as well. Give me a call before we wrap up the show at 916-779-0929. And while I have a moment, I want to tell you about DAS Mechanical, family owned and operated since 2018. Serving Sacramento and Placer counties, they are HVAC retrofit and service specialists, and they also do new systems. Take advantage of rebates up to $6,000, including a federal tax credit of $2,000. You got to hurry on that because that's due to expire at the end of the year. And right now, a $69 winter maintenance check. Make sure that you are good to go when the temperature drops. Go to dasmechanical.org and take advantage of that $69 special through the month of November. That's dasmechanical.org. D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Look at all of their 5-star reviews, their numerous best of the best awards. You can schedule everything online. And if you should need a new HVAC unit, remember great financing options, including 0% interest for 18 months. That's dasmechanical.org, dasmechanical.org. Let's say hello to John right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hi, John.
Grant, how are you, buddy?
What's going on, John? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Basketball is starting finally. Hockey's underway. Football, the World Series starts. This is good times. Like you were saying a few weeks ago when the Ryder Cup was going on, that was the start. That was the start of the month that is this. This is why we play them. This is so fun. And, man, listening to you talk about Danny Ainge and stuff, you're exactly right. When he was on the Celtics, I freaking hated that guy. When he came here, I obviously learned a bit more about him, listening to your show also. And you realize that he wasn't just a complainer. You know, if you recall, you obviously do. People thought he was just complaining to the refs all the time. But realistically, he was right a lot of the time, too. So that was fun. That was fun listening to you. It's always fun listening to you reminisce about, you know, all that stuff. And having Joe Klein on, that's great. Grant, you've had more guests on your show in the last month or 5 weeks or whatever it's been than that other station has had in the last 5 years, Grant. I am not kidding you. It is so great to have you back on the air with all your guests, all your insight, everything. And Rhino's just doing a fantastic job. So I got to commend him.
Thank you,
and
buddy.
you. Hey, of course, man. I kind of wanted to get in a little bit on about the predictions for the season.
Yeah.
Usually I'm really optimistic. I'm not all that optimistic, and it's kind of like you were saying, the injuries to start the season, that's not going to help, especially in the beginning of the season. I mean, the first few games aren't too bad, but man, the next 17, the next 20,
yeah, brutal.
It's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
And granted, when we get later into, March and so forth, it might not be as bad, but we got to get there first. We got to get there. Man, I'm only seeing maybe it could be 25 wins, but it could be 40. It's just so hard to see right now.
Let's hope that they don't have any more injuries, because right now they can't afford another injury, or they're going to be in dire straits.
Oh man, you're telling me, and especially if it happens to be one of our point guards, if it happens to be Russ or Schroeder.
I think they're fine without Russ personally. I think losing Dennis Schroeder would be a real problem. I don't think losing Russell Westbrook would be a problem, because Keon Ellis and Malik Monk would be playing more minutes, and I think that's a positive, not a negative. So I'm not hoping that Russ gets hurt. I think he's still a decent player. I don't think he's like chopped liver, but I mean, I don't see it.
I'm on board with you, Grant. I think we talked about this 10 years ago going, man, I like Russ, but that was 10 years ago, and it's kind of like, we kind of like him, but not all the way, but, we pick him up at the airport though. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it was. But right now, it's 10 years later. It's a little bit different. I still like his enthusiasm and his will to attack and everything like that. But man, he's getting older, and this is why we play him, buddy.
Thank you, John. Enjoy the game, buddy.
Grant, have a great one, buddy. Oh, I got the tri-tip going on the grill in a few minutes. See if you can smell it on your way home, buddy.
Oh, you're killing me. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Somebody asked on the text line, will we accept calls after the game on the post-game show? Yes, we always accept calls. We want calls, and we look forward to the calls. So, yeah, join us over on YouTube if you don't like that. And, of course, on X, Jerry Reynolds will join us as well. And, yes, we look forward to your calls. We'll break down the game, and we look forward to your messages via the chat line and your phone calls. So, yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking. So, here we are. The 40th anniversary tips off in about an hour and 20 minutes. Do not go overboard on your game one reactions. Let's go in 5-game increments. Can we agree on that? No, I didn't think so. I knew you were going to say no, Napes. You're going to judge a lot on tonight's game. Be careful about not going overboard with early season forecast based on what you see in week one of the NFL. I mean, if you look at week one of the NFL, look at all of the teams that you were like, wow, and look at them now, right? Look at them now. So I'm just telling you, put the brakes on a little bit. Put the brakes on a little bit, all right? Put the brakes on. Let's go 5 games or so. And then you say, okay, I think we know where we're heading, but, this could be ugly tonight, or they could look great tonight. And it doesn't mean, well, this is how the season's going to go. But there are some things you want to see tonight. I think we can agree on that. This from the 209, regardless of this Kings team, if they're good or not, I'm grateful we still have Kings basketball to watch in Sacramento. Happy opening night, Grant. Well, that is true. That is very true. You should be happy that you have professional sports in Sacramento and the NBA, which has provided a lot of great moments. And we talk about generations, and we've had some calls today from the impact that the Kings have had on their little ones. And my kids grew up watching the Kings at Arco, and there are so many other families, young ones 40 years ago, 35 years ago, 30 years ago that are now sharing that experience with their sons and daughters. So, yeah, we should all be grateful. And you also have a state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Golden One Center, which is one of the best in the country. And without the Kings, you wouldn't have that there, and you're able to go to concerts and other events. So, yes, it's been a real win-win for the community of Sacramento and Northern California. There is no question about that at all. So, opening night, year 40, getting ready to begin. And I don't know what year it is. I think it's year 6 for me on my podcast. But in terms of doing live shows. Maybe it's year 3. So I'm not up to 40 yet. I don't think I'm going to make it to 40 years doing live post-game shows on YouTube. Let's see, I'm 66. No, I'm not. No. That's not going to work. But I will be there tonight with Rhino and Jerry right after the game on YouTube and X. Hope you can join us. And go Kings. We'll see how they do tonight against the Phoenix Suns. For Rhino, and my thanks to Steve Weiss from the NFL Network for joining me during hour number 1, talking the NFL. Thank you so much. Love your support. Hope you have a great evening enjoying NBA basketball. Talk to you a little bit later this evening. Grant Napear saying so long on Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit hqnightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Looking for the best happy hour in town? Head to Bennett's, where every day from 2 to 6, you'll find flavor, fun, and serious value. Enjoy over 10 wines by the glass, country club-style cocktails like lemon drops, skinny margaritas, and crave-worthy share plates. Short rib tacos, chicken wings, calamari, and more, starting at just $6. It's upscale without the uptight. 3 locations, Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. Join us today or check out the menu at bennettsrestaurants.com.
For nearly all of us, our home is our biggest investment. And just as important as what it looks like on the